And, yeah. Good idea. They have heard off our meeting for a certain period of time to come. And so,
I'm off tomorrow and Friday. If something comes up, just email me.
Have fun. Enjoy. Okay, enjoy.
Bye, Mayor. Bye, Mayor.
Really want this to finish. Third, for you, you know,
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm.
you doing in my seat. Dude. Been a long time since you sat there, Pat. He always has a good couple bacon.
Well, you know, it's all right. I sit in the studio here.
I know, I'll suck it in so you.
40 years, 40 years.
Oh, yeah. Come on, give me that. Very fun, that's there.
Are you in the contract?
Of course I am. That's. Who's gonna get?
Oh, yeah.
I'm done yelling, I don't get mad anymore, or crazy. I just-
Yeah.
Yeah, this is.
Things are gonna, please fall.
It's absurd.
Is that even a good word? Yeah. I mean, I'm good. It's not, I don't think it is. I'm not a big vocabulary guy. I don't think that's a proper word. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cheap.
What's up? Yeah, so, I knew James, all that says. Go ahead, there you go.
Now, these are the uniforms of us.
Doesn't matter.
Where's mine?
It's probably 50% less.
We're fifty, maybe back in '88.
I thought that was.
That's how. Emergency SLTs through the morning, first of all, it is.
I got
They won't stop.
Now, because it's all craziness and pictures, whatever later, so. Filtering in here, so I'll take that.
Good.
Chief, you're looking good as well.
Thank you.
What we got? Long meeting, short meeting?
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna call medium-ish meeting.
We have our Christmas party, so I'm sneaking out.
Did I? No, it says,
Either
confirm or deny.
Well, you guys stay with the whole night, right? I thought I had to only stay for days. That's
When we were gonna do it downstairs.
Gonna be standing lonely.
Yeah, definitely.
So rain down there? At least it's warm.
Yes. Tomorrow we going to be dropping.
I know, that's a good thing.
How many family members?
Yep, yeah, right back of my chair.
Yes. Yeah, no, I'm looking for a piece of paper.
Fine.
Well, they didn't go to the site, so they're gonna get next year. Give a little card.
Kirsten. Pizza night tonight.
Oh, yeah. It's ours. Hold up the hot rollers. Nice.
Oh my goodness, I still have those too. Oh, me too. I never got, and I like hot dogs lately. I just use my daughter. I love my hot dogs.
Is there any chance that the family can see back in the side? I think I know, I just wanna make sure, but I don't want to. Sometimes I get like locked in
Yeah,
that.
no, it's in your mailbox. Have it. Time's fair.
Did you see the note report? Oh, yeah. I'm still not. The other things, yeah.
Feeling better.
That's good.
Drop down my knees. Not. Not like the jokes like anti-inflammatory. Because I definitely change my name and I become like stuck like. So just like.
What's that? No, they had a lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they'll.
All right, that sounds good. Why feel better?
I don't know. I need to earn a living.
Yeah, let's stress.
It's 30, it's.
Flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I wish to announce that the 48-hour notice as required under the Open Public Meetings Act was emailed to the Asbury Park Press, the Co-Star, and the New Co-Star on December the 7th of 2023. That a copy has been placed on the bulletin board in the borough office and that a copy has been filed with the municipal clerk. As a courtesy to the public, this meeting may be attended via Zoom. If for any reason the Zoom portion of this meeting fails or is disconnected, the in-person meeting will continue and action can and will be taken, providing there is an in-person quorum. Ms. DeNoble? Here. Mr. Gubatose?
Here.
Ms. Mahoney?
Here.
Mr. Weber?
Here.
Mayor Fox?
Here. Okay, good evening, everybody. Welcome. We've got a number of Bradley Beach's finest here, so we welcome you all here tonight. I'd always start with my emphasizing a couple of points here. We often disagree. That helps us think through problems from a different perspective. Our voices should be constructive. We all want a brighter Bradley Beach and I ask you to join us in this journey. I'll ask everybody to gauge their tone. We're all neighbors. Let's make civility and decency an underpinning of our discussions tonight. So we have a big night tonight. We have a swearing in of one of our officers. Also, this is our last scheduled meeting of the year, although we may have to have another to cover up some minor pieces, not minor, but a few pieces of business. We do have a resolution to continue a path on 319 Lorraine, which is good. Additionally, we have some key projects that we've received funding from a county, state and federal perspective that we want to move forward to the next steps on. We have a lot of resolutions, 20+ resolutions to address, so we have a busy night, so we will get to it. We'll start with presentations and bids and the oath of office for Police Officer Daniel Crow. Chief Arnold and his leadership team have completed the search process for last officer on the force to fill out the force completely. We'll now be fully staffed. And we're fortunate to land on a current member of the team. We will now have a full complement, which is always desirable, minimizes overtime and kind of stress on the system. I'll let the chief articulate a few points before we proceed. Chief, do you like to make a couple points?
Good evening, everyone. First and foremost, I'd like to thank the mayor and the council for making this happen and continuing to help move us forward. On behalf of the Bradley Beach Police Department and all its members, I would like to congratulate Daniel Crow on becoming our newest full-time police officer. A little bit about Dan. Dan grew up in Toms River. He went to high school at Toms River North, where he played football. Then he went on to Delaware Valley University, where he earned his bachelor's degree, and he was a 4-year letterman in football. Daniel came to us in 2022 as a Class 1 officer, then became a Class 2 officer this past year. and obviously he was selected as our newest police officer right now. On a personal note, Dan, I'd like to say tonight is a night you'll remember for the rest of your life. You may not realize it right now, but this is probably one of the greatest moments in your law enforcement career. A moment all people trying to strive to become a police officer look forward to. So take it from me, this career goes by very fast, so take it all in. Enjoy the night, enjoy your family, your friends celebrating it. I wish you all the luck in the world, but it does go by quick, so just enjoy every moment of it. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
We want to hold the Bible.
My dad.
Yeah, great. Let's get this illustrated. I'm gonna stand over here. And if that works, okay? So. Ready? Okay. State of New Jersey, County of Monmouth. Just repeat after me. I, Daniel Crowe,
I, Daniel Crowe,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey.
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
That I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States and in this state
in the United States and this state
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people,
That I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties
all the duties
of a police probationary officer
of a police probationary officer
for the Borough of Bradley Beach
for the Borough of Bradley Beach
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
You ready? All right, we're gonna get a couple pictures, that's okay. Shake hands with your body. We'll just stand up for one more minute. Is there a picture? You guys want to come down for a picture also?
Oh, I love that, thank you.
And the chief.
I like the tone.
Right.
Wait, you need one for the police department. Ready, 1, 2, 3. Perfect, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations. Oops, I'm getting that like.
You want to say something?
My turn.
It's his turn.
I just want to thank everyone for coming tonight, thank the mayor, Mayor Fox, the council for this opportunity. This isn't a regular job. You have to put somebody in this position who you have believe has a lot of responsibility, a lot of integrity, so thankful for that. Thankful for Chief Arnold, Captain Browning, the entire administration, and really everyone in the department, dispatchers, part-time. Since I've been here as a class 1, you've all helped me get to this position. It's been a goal of mine for a long time. I'd like to thank my father, my friends in the back for coming. You've all pushed me towards my goals and never told me that I wasn't gonna achieve something, and I'm thankful for that. So thank you all for coming.
Let's see the zeros. Do you want me to put it in the police box or would you like to take it with me now? Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You want everybody to leave or should they?
Oh, yeah, we should release.
Okay.
Release everybody else.
You're all welcome to stay for the meeting if you like, but. Yeah, yeah. Right, it's gonna be a lot. Yeah. We have a couple proclamations that we're going to do right now that are not on the agenda, so it's a little surprise bonus for you all. So, without further ado, I'd like to introduce Erica. Okay, hello. So I have a couple of proclamations here, and see, I'm also gonna play Santa Claus. Apologize, I forgot my elf hat tonight, so Kristen, this is for you. On behalf of myself and the mayor and the council. Yes, okay, let me read your proclamation. How's that? Okay, so this is a proclamation recognizing Councilwoman Kristen Mahoney. Whereas Kristen Mahoney has faithfully served her fellow citizens as a councilwoman from October 11th of 2023 to present, and whereas Ms. Mahoney has performed of her own volition many endeavors to benefit her community and has been active volunteer on boards and committees dedicated to the betterment of life for the residents of the borough. Whereas Ms. Mahoney has also given willingly and she has contributed selflessly to the community for many of her fellow citizens. Whereas Ms. Mahoney will retire from her position as councilwoman on December the 31st of 2024. Now therefore be it resolved, as the mayor, council, and employees of the borough of Bradley Beach, we wish to extend our appreciation for Ms. Mahoney's services and to the borough and wish her well in all her future endeavors.
I just want to say, as a council representative representing the mayor, I hope that, and the rest of the council, I hope. Kristen has been a wonderful colleague. Most of you may remember that we kind of pulled her into duty. She didn't go through a broad process. I don't think you gave it a lot of thought necessarily coming into it, at least until we asked you. And I could not have asked for a better council colleague. She cares about Bradley Beach. She cares about every resident in this town. And she worked unbelievably hard and very passionately to make Bradley Beach better. So Kristen, thank you very much.
It's been an honor and a pleasure, and, you know, if I could keep doing it, I would, but I have to feed myself and my dog. So, but thank you, and I hope to stay in service in some way, shape, or form if you will have me, so thank you. It's been an honor. Just you honor. Yep, that was really kind, guys, and unnecessary here, would you mind, thank you, the honor. Here, would you mind? I heard thank you for your color. And, oh, that is just lovely. That is. Thank you. That is, thank you, Paul, thank you. Oh my God, anywhere near, I think it's a hot. Have another for me, yes.
Okay, we have one more proclamation. Yes, excuse me. I good. No duties here. Okay. So we have a proclamation for our mayor, Larry Fox. We were gonna get away that easy.
I'm gonna stay in time.
Okay, proclamation recognizing Mayor Larry Fox. Whereas Mayor Larry Fox has served the borough of Bradley Beach for 4 years, Mayor Fox has given generously of his time and effort as the mayor with diligence and effectiveness has made a constructive contribution to his associates and to the community. Whereas Mayor Fox has also served in his capacity as mayor on boards and committees dedicated to the betterment of life for the residents of the borough. Mayor Fox has performed his duties as mayor with character, dignity, and he will be missed both professionally and as a friend. Whereas his service to the borough has been given willingly and he has contributed immeasurably to the success of community endeavors for many of his fellow citizens. Whereas Mayor Larry Fox will retire from his position as mayor on December 31st of 2024.
Now therefore be it resolved, the council, borough employees, and volunteers of the borough of Bradley Beach wish to extend their appreciation for Mayor Fox for his contributions and service to his community.
This is presented to you from the council. On behalf of the council, myself, we wish you the best of luck and the best of health to you and your family. And we do have one more surprise for you.
Well, Mayor, I wasn't just getting my eyebrows done.
You know, I didn't put it together. No. Thanks to Barry Dice, the works for the county, county.
The state.
State.
Yeah, I'm here on behalf of the state.
Oh, you're here on the
Yeah,
state.
so
Oh,
I'm here
sorry.
on behalf of Senator Gopal, and Assemblywoman Donlin, Peter Paul, who represent you in the New Jersey State Legislature, with a resolution, a joint resolution from the three of them. And before I read it, I just want to acknowledge, Mayor Fox's, dedication to this community. A couple of years ago, we went through redistricting, and the mayor actually, testified as to all of the needs of Bradley Beach to ensure that they were getting the best representation possible. And also making sure that the state was acknowledging, you know, that Bradley isn't just a short town, but it is so much more, and to make sure that the needs are met in the most effective way. So this is a joint resolution by Senator Gopal and Assemblywoman Donlin and Peter Paul. Whereas the Honorable Larry Fox, a highly esteemed member of his Garden State community, is being recognized as he concludes an exemplary tenure as mayor of the borough of Bradley Beach on December 31st, 2024. Whereas the Senate and General Assembly of the state of New Jersey are pleased to commend Larry Fox and note his immeasurable contributions in the furtherance of a robust and prosperous borough for all. Retired from the distinguished position of Johnson & Johnson, Larry Fox has called Bradley Beach home for more than 17 years and has served with energy and commitment as its mayor since 2021. By repeatedly applying his knowledge and experience to the benefit of his fellow residents, Larry Fox has earned the abiding respect and admiration of all who've known his many accomplishments. Through his inspired and effective governance, Larry Fox has exhibited an uncommon measure of public spiritedness, and in doing so has established the standard of excellence toward which others might strive. The strength and prosperity of the state of New Jersey depend in great measure upon industrious citizens exemplified by Larry Fox, who utilize their unique skills and talents to enhance our cities, towns, and boroughs, and improve the quality of life for our neighbors. It's altogether fitting and right for the members of the legislature to pause their deliberations to acknowledge Larry Fox as an individual of remarkable character and outstanding fortitude. Be it resolved by the Senate and General Assembly of the state of New Jersey, this legislature hereby salutes Larry Fox, paying tribute to his sterling record of public service, and extends its sincere best wishes for happiness of all the days of his life. This is a duly authenticated copy of a resolution signed by the Senate President and the Speaker and attested to by the Assembly Clerk, transmitted to the Honorable Larry Fox.
I'll be brief because I know you've been so long sometimes. I'd like to thank everybody. I'd like to thank you all. It's very nice. It was unexpected and very nice. You finish kind of phases of things and you reflect sometime after, and try to put perspective on things. I can just say that my main, thanks here is to the people that work here, every day, the police, public works, recreation, professionals, they just help move the town forward, and it is about how do we provide service and how do we make progress, and I think we've done some of that, and not with that exactly what we every now and again, but I think we made some good strides, and I think we're poised to continue on that path, particularly working with county, state, federal resources that can help us move forward. So I very much appreciate the recognition. Again, very a surprise, and thank you all. Thanks.
Oh, right here.
Yes, want to get ready. You just need to turn it back. Yes, and that's.
Yeah, I don't want that. Yeah, I blocked you, but I think I had a lot of that chance. Yeah.
Just how you think the size of it.
It's not like there's some like the kind about it organized.
I've done this before.
Hold on. I was gonna come for you next. You're 8 years, I better know what it's saying. We got it?
I got it.
Alright.
All right, here we go. Okay. Changing my profession after tonight. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, back to business here. First, we have we don't have any workshops tonight, so we have, the approval of minutes. I'll make a motion to approve the November 7th, 2024 council business meeting minutes. Do I have a second?
Second. Mr. Noble? Yes. Mr. Gubatose?
Yes.
Ms. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Fox?
Yes. Also make a motion to approve the November 7th, 2024 executive session meeting minutes. Do I have a second to that?
Second.
Mr. Noble? Yes. Mr. Gubatose?
Yes.
Ms. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Fox?
Yes. We now have public comments or questions pertaining to the 12-11 agenda. Those agenda items only, 5-minute limit, single instance. Are there any questions on the agenda? Yes.
My name is Shashir Wenzel, North Avenue, Granite Beach. I have some questions regarding your bills list. I noticed on the very first cover page, there is an entry for US Bank for $320,400. Is that a generic bank? Is that a bank? Or can anybody please explain this deposit?
Check. So it's not a deposit. It's actually, these are expenditures. These are either manual checks or wires.
It was a deposit, though, wasn't it?
I don't think so, because if you add the 600, the 80, the 5 or 6 numbers here, they come
Manual,
up to $1.8 million.
it kind of says here is manual checks and wires, US Bank, $320.
But meaning it's a check that we sent out, it's not a
Oh,
deposit to us.
I apologize. Okay, that's fine. Okay, thank you for clarification. On page 1, I noticed CME, they're getting bills where they've submitted bills for 2023 to 2024. I think it was from, oh, I'm sorry. I noticed it was billed from February of 2023 to November of 24, and I'm just surprised that we've been billed for 2023 in this calendar year.
Well, there's a couple of things on that. One is we actually, if we know that we're gonna spend money, if we spent money in 23 but haven't physically paid it, we actually hold that money in our budget. We call it and the term is covered.
Encumbrance.
Thank you. What's it again?
Encumbrance.
Encumbrance, thank you. I don't know why that term, so we hold that money in a reserve. So we knew that we were gonna spend that money, or we probably knew we were gonna spend that money this year.
Okay,
And I can add that resolution is on the agenda for tonight, so that's probably has something to do with it why it's finally.
okay,
Yeah.
and I think it's important for the taxpayers to know that, according to my calculations, that CME has billed us for $147,221 for the year for their services. Page 4. Mike Knit singles for bags. This, it was for $1,317.24. I was appalled at the shipping charge, $239.95. I don't know about you, but if I was charged that much for shipping, I would have found another way of getting the merchandise. That sounds outrageous.
I think they're heavy, it's like, they're like books. It's, I know it's plastic bags, but there's thousands and thousands, I mean, I hope this is for like 10,000 bags or
Was
something.
probably a year's worth.
Yeah,
I just found that startling, that's all. Okay, I'll move on. Pine Point contract and time clocks. And then I noticed that they have their bill for this month was $9,794.31. And I'm just curious, do we use any of their data for budgeting or auditing?
Well, Prime Points are,
Payroll,
I'm sorry,
that's our.
yeah, it's our payroll system.
Able.
Yes, so we use it for all those things.
Okay. One other thing is on page 9. TNT and M Associates. And it was described as Lorraine Avenue Demo Special Project. Could anybody please explain to me what the special project is?
Well, the special project is the demolition bid specification for demolishing the building. So there's a document, I don't know if it's 20 or 30 pages, it's a big document. That we wanted to ensure we had every bit of the appropriate regulatory stuff, testing stuff into the bid document. So we asked them to assist us in developing that.
If you just refresh my memory, how much does a bid have to be? What's the limit of, wait, I mean, account limit raise. What is the amount of money that a bid has to be before it gets council approval?
$4,000.
Okay, so this was $50 shy. Okay. I noticed that Edmonds has 12,200. Edmonds, bill for the month was $12,522.11. And I'm just, is that also, do we use that in our budget and our audits?
That's the lifeblood, that's our whole financial system.
Okay, all right. And I noticed on page 19, Mr. Bernstein received 2 payments this month. One for $3,540 and the other one was $2,550. And the description was Employment Council, Oprah Council, and UFCW 152. And my calculations show that the total for Mr. Bernstein for the 2024 year was $53,725.62. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Any other questions? Yes.
Beth Kepler, 504 Central Avenue. This is in response to the resolutions on the agenda 186 to 190 and my reasons for why I would ask the council not to vote in favor of them passing conserving the borough of Bradley Beach, specifically Mayor Larry Fox, with my fourth notice of court claim. On behalf of myself and the residents of Bradley Beach that wish to join me as the lead plaintiff in a class action lawsuit, I'll explain the events giving rise to the potential claim from serving the borough of Bradley Beach and Mayor Larry Fox personally with this notice of tort claim on behalf of myself and every taxpayer and or homeowner in the borough of Bradley Beach who was harmed, injured, and disenfranchised by the intentional actions and inactions of Mayor Larry Fox in his wanton violation of, but not limited to, 40A:5-4 of the New Jersey Revised Statutes, as well as New Jersey Administrative Codes NJAC 50:30-6, 50:31-6.1, and 50:30-8.2 under the Local Finance Board and Deputy Department of Community Affairs rules for governing annual audit. This claim arises from my allegation that there has been gross mismanagement and embezzlement of tax dollars by the current borough's administration, also known as the Fox administration. This misconduct has caused significant financial and personal harm to me personally and other residents and homeowners. I allege that the Borough of Bradley Beach has engaged in the mismanagement and embezzlement of taxpayer funds, causing harm to the shareholders, stakeholders, the homeowners. This includes, but is not limited to, improper allocation of resources, unauthorized expenditures, and other potential fraudulent activities. Such actions have directly and indirectly resulted in financial losses and a decline in public services and infrastructure maintenance. The incidents of I'll skip that first. The Borough of Bradley Beach, County of Monmouth, State of New Jersey, as of Wednesday, December 11th, has not provided the public with the complete 2023 audit as is required by state law. Therefore, the Borough of Bradley Beach, under the leadership of Mayor Larry Fox and his administration, are in direct violation of section 40A:4-5 of the New Jersey Revised Statutes. This section mandates that the governing body of every local unit must cause an actual annual audit of its books, accounts, and financial transactions to be made and completed within 6 months after the close of its fiscal year. The audit must be made available to the public. In the Borough of Bradley Beach, New Jersey, the requirements for corrective action plans are governed by the New Jersey Administrative Code NJAC 5:30-6. According to these regulations, each audit finding must be addressed with a cap within 60 days of the audit report being filed. The cap must include a reference number assigned by the auditor, the audit findings, and the contact person responsible for the corrective action, the planned corrective action, and the anticipated completion date. Combining caps from different audit years is not allowed, as each cap is meant to address specific findings from the corresponding audit year. Skipping a cap for 1 year and combining it with the next year's cap would not comply with these regulations. NJAC 5:30-6 pertains to the local finance board's requirements for annual audits of local units such as municipalities and counties in New Jersey. During the October 23rd, 2024 council meeting, Mayor Fox was asked by resident taxpayer Mr. Cohen, where is the 2022 bad audit correction action plan? To which Mayor Fox replied, I think he's going to combine that with 2023. Mr. Cohen then asks, did you think, or do you think, or do you know? Mayor Fox answers, yes, he's going to do that. Mr. Cohen then says he's going to, well, they're two separate documents. Okay, well, when will we receive the 2023 audit that was due on July 1st, 2024? We were told by you it would be in the October timeframe. Well, we're kind of in the October timeframe now. How are we doing? Mayor Fox responds, it's in process. I know the last time we spoke to Mr. Alawa, the auditor, he had 190 pages of it done. It's in process. I don't know exactly his delivery date. I can find that out. Mr. Cohen replies, but it's not the October timeframe we were previously told. Mayor Fox responds, well, today is October 23rd. Mr. Cohen retorts, so the next 8 days, you got this covered? Mayor Fox answers, oh, I'll have to check with Mr. Alawa, to which Mr. Cohen says, okay, great. Now we stand here on December 11th, 2024. Where is our audit there?
It's in process.
Still,
Yes.
it's not done. Is it done and you're withholding it like you do other things?
I'm
Is it
not gonna
completed?
answer that question.
Is it complete? No, you need to answer that question.
I said it was in process. That's the answer to the
Is
question.
it done? Or are you in possession?
It's in
of it? Yes or no?
process. It's in process.
So it's not done.
That would be in process, yeah.
And why is it not done? What is holding it up? If you're 6 months late, is it that you don't want to face the public? You want to slip out the back door? Let me tell you, these council members got a lot of class. Because I threw up here in my mouth a little bit when you got like this proclamation. Because it's a joke, just like you. You are a joke. You did not deserve that.
Any other questions? Yes.
Question, Lauren Egbert, 4.5 Brindley Avenue. Questions and comments?
Yes. On the agenda.
Yes. What I'm looking at here, on the agenda, and I apologize, I've not actually read the resolutions this time around, so, speaking a little off the cuff. But I'm looking at several awards for projects with CME engineers. And for projects that have come up that have been discussed. It was certainly my hope that decisions on these projects would be made after we had the 2023 audit and when we have a new mayor and council. There's been a lot of doubts brought up by residents in terms of what's been needed, in terms of some of the charges. And I also, when I see, and I'm sure they're a very fine company, but I see CME, and it just doesn't.
Well, CME is our borough engineer. They are assigned to, we appoint them, we appointed them for a 3-year, this is their second of 3 years. So all projects that, kind of call them the general projects, that are engineering related or need an engineering component. A lot of, for instance, a lot of these grants require engineering, specific engineering inputs. So, yeah, you're gonna see CME because they are a borough engineer. We could have something in a lake like Colliers, they're working on the flume for us. You could have a couple of other engineering types, but they are our general engineers. They are assigned, we appoint them and we have a budget for them and we utilize them and they do a very effective
None
job.
of these projects would have been appropriate for competitive bidding at all.
Ultimately, they will be, when the work is being done around construction, and the other elements, they will be up for bid, yeah.
But no, nothing in terms of proposals, perspectives,
No,
plans,
no,
none of that should be open to.
well, typically they're not.
Competitive bidding.
I probably should have, before the meeting, mentioned that, we do have CME here. We have Ben Matlack and, CME's president, Greg, I always screw up your last name, Greg. Bless you. Thank you. So, you know, they've worked for us now for 2 years and I think done a very effective job for us. So, that's why you see CME on the bill list. I mean, that's appropriate.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. And again, I would be more comfortable if major projects happened after the audits, if we knew what our finances look like with more certainty. And also, as I say, there's been a great deal of questioning, just a lack of confidence. And I share some of that lack of confidence because of important matters in this town that I felt were not aired out with the kind of public notice and the real detailed examination of practical solutions that I would have liked. So anything, I would feel much more comfortable with major construction, community expense, those kind of decisions happening in January. We're almost there. Thank you.
Thank you. Was there somebody else? Yeah.
Park 2216 Friendly.
Yeah.
For anyone who values Bradley Beach history, this is a sad time. The president of the Historical Society, Paul Nishamkin, has been asking for 5 years to be included in talks about the future of the church. For the most part, despite being promised a seat at the table, he's been pretty much ignored. At this point, we've accepted that in the near future, this historical gem will be graced. 14 months ago, Mayor Fox, you asked the Historical Society if you could attend one of our meetings. I was there. You asked us if we like any artifacts from the church. Paul named many items and once again asked to be part of any discussions moving forward. At this point, he has still not been contacted, even though neighbors of the church have seen items being removed. I certainly hope these items, as well as others in the church, are not sold to anyone before Paul, the other members of the Historical Society, and residents are given a chance to either take them for our historical archives or purchase them for our homes. If we can't have the church, the least you can do is preserve as much as possible on the inside. Thank you.
Any other questions? Yeah.
Tommy Clayton, 612 Third Avenue. I had a question about the transfers. I'm a little puzzled about how your bookkeeping works here. Resolution 2024-209, you're transferring 45,000 from appropriations to other categories. And the categories there, I find a little bit odd. One of them is social security for 20,000, which would indicate to me that you didn't budget social security properly when the budget was done, or the mayor's budget was done. But also, what I'm really concerned about is that we were told during the budget process that we had money set aside for a union contract for DPW dispatchers, but the money was hidden and we didn't know where it was. So my concern is
Who
that,
doesn't know where it was?
that's what you told us.
No, who doesn't know where it is?
You didn't tell us. You said it's in the budget,
Yeah, yeah.
but we're not gonna tell you for negotiation
Right,
purposes.
okay, I didn't
So we
understand.
don't know where it is. Like anything else with you, we don't have
Okay,
data,
just,
okay?
continue.
No, I'm gonna continue,
yeah, please
please.
do.
And I'd like to know if this 45,000 is part of the money for the union.
No, it's not.
It's not.
No.
So where is the money for the union?
It's in different line items in the budget, which,
So you over appropriated other line items to hide the money from the union. Is that what you're telling me?
it's reserved in a couple of spots, yes.
But we don't know where it is. You're not gonna tell us. Okay.
The council doesn't know either.
Pardon?
The council doesn't know where it is either.
Wow, that's right. You just legislate. You don't do any administration. I get that. And then on this contract for resolution 2024-190. To do the sewer pump station. The grant is $50,000. And this is $69,000 proposal. So why don't we just tell CME, we'd like the proposal to be 49,500 in case we go over. Why are we spending 19,000 more?
We're not gonna spend any more than the 50.
Oh, you're not?
For
Okay.
phase, right. Is
And
that correct, Ben?
also, I find the number for design phase services to be ridiculously high. We had an architect from the town design it and put it on Facebook. I don't understand why we're spending 36,000. I'm sorry, 36,200 to do that. It's way too high for that phase. So I would definitely question that. It's a 900 square foot building. The last question I had was about you setting the schedule for the year. At the end of the schedule, we're gonna go, according to this schedule, 40 days without a meeting. We got a lot of work to do here in 2025. I don't think you can go 40 days without a meeting. So between November 6th and December 16th is 40 days. I don't see any reason why you don't schedule a second November meeting on November 18th. In between, so that would be my recommendation, because I don't really think that's proper, but I do want to thank you for the Tuesday meetings. It's much easier to fit the schedule, so I can make sure I'm, thank you.
See anybody else? Yes, Paul.
Paul Champion, 411 Lorraine Avenue. Obviously, my comments are about 2024-216. And I urge the council not to authorize the resolution on the disposition of the articles from 319 Lorraine. Why? Because this resolution comes as a bit of a surprise, to say the least. Not only did we have discussions a year ago about certain items that the Historical Society wished to retain for its collections, and for the people of Bradley Beach to remember the rich history of this building. We had further discussions in September of this year, when I was informed that one of the stained glass windows was being removed, and I called you up in September. You explained to me at that time that it was one of the windows that was promised to the Camp Meeting Association, the Elwood P. Stokes window. And I asked you at that time who was going to be in charge of the fate of all the historical items that we had listed. I think originally there was something like 44, and I know that I called you up this year and added at least one, which was the cornerstone of the building. Anyway, at that time, I asked you who was in charge and you said you didn't know. And I asked you if you would please keep me in the loop.
I didn't know.
Yes, that's exactly, you said that it would either be the 5 presidents,
Oh, the ultimate recipient, yeah, we were working on that,
Not the
yes, but
recipient.
the person that
I asked
was,
who was gonna be in charge of of monitoring this whole process. And you said it would either be them or some firm in Philadelphia.
Right.
And I asked you to inform me when that decision was made, so that I could have some input on that, because basically, I don't think we have a really complete knowledge of that list. I see in this resolution that there are prices given. This is something that should have been discussed in public, or at least with the council or with me as a member of the Historical Society. And none of the items that I mentioned to you over a year ago are on this list. And this is very worrisome. I think that we have to clarify the situation. And I urge the council not to authorize this list or the distribution of any of the items. It's my understanding that some of the items have already been removed.
no, the only item that's been removed is the Ocean Grove piece.
That's not what I've heard.
Well, I'm telling you what is. Sorry.
Well, you may not be correct, Mayor Fox, because there have been witnesses who've seen objects being taken out of the church over the last week and a half. I urge you, if there have been any items removed, that they be returned, retained.
Mr. Shampton, there are no items out of the church except for the Ocean Grove piece. All those items are there.
So the people who have been speaking to me are liars.
I don't know who you're speaking to, but I'm telling you that that's the case.
Anyway, whatever the case be, it's important that this town not lose these rich historical artifacts, these assets of the town. It's also important that there be discussion as to a lot of the items that were not indicated originally over a year ago, that might be items that residents of this town wish to purchase.
Well, besides the cornerstone, what do you, give me an example of what you're talking about?
What am I talking about?
I said besides the
Yeah,
cornerstone.
I know, I heard.
Yeah.
We listed quite a few things over a year ago.
Just give me an example.
Yeah, sure. The 3 stained glass windows behind the altar, between the altar and the cloaking room. The straight pew, located in the side sanctuary chapel, wherever it is. There's a bookcase in the basement. There was a table. There was a long list of items that I thought we were gonna have further discussions on over the last year, and of course, this never happened. And also, I mean, you're completely ignoring a huge number of important and valuable items in that building that may not be of historical value, but they're certainly of architectural salvage value. And I would think that somebody should be really cataloging that and indicating to the town how they will process that. I mean, you've always told us that you believe in a proper process. You said that at the beginning of your comments tonight that this resolution was a step forward in the path on 319 Lorraine. I don't see it as a step forward. I see it as it's something which is going to just further complicate things, because it is not taking into account the proper disposition of the artifacts and valuable architectural assets of that building.
Thank you. One other questions? Yes.
Greenblatt, 414 Monmouth Avenue. I appreciate that things are moving forward with 319 Lorraine. However, looking at resolution 2024-216, I have a number of questions about the process. So looking at this resolution, the 3rd paragraph down, whereas Rose O'Connor Meyer presented her appraisal findings regarding the artifacts,
And this is referenced at a council meeting held on September 13th, 2023. I recall a general discussion about the artifacts, but not specific items and specific values at that time.
Well, what we said at that meeting was, there were approximately 40 to 44 items. We had an inventory of those, we had pictures of those. She had itemized those, the approximate value that I stated in that meeting was less than $20,000, that's what I said in the meeting. The actual number, because there were a couple of items that were still outstanding from a quotation perspective from her, was, I want to say it was somewhere in the neighborhood of $12,000 to $13,000, but she was still awaiting one or two other quotations. So that's where we were. She did a fairly comprehensive review of those items. We didn't.
Since that time, you mean?
Well,
Since that,
at that time, before that meeting, she went through the inventory, we didn't give her those 40 items, she went through the church. And if you recall, I don't know if you were at that meeting or not, but her credentials between Harvard, NYU, and a couple other places around art history and architectural stuff were pretty impeccable.
right. No, I was at that meeting. It was a lengthy discussion. I remember we were kind of talking more top level about the artifacts. We weren't speaking specifically.
Well, and I think the objective of that meeting, the objective of this past year, and the objective of this resolution is. The objective was, we don't want to go through a demolition of this building and not retain those artifacts. By and large, we've been able to find a home for those artifacts. I think we couldn't have found a better home for those artifacts. A public museum that's being renovated as we speak, the Church of the Presidents. They will fit out all of the stained glass, the pews, which I think there will be some leftover pews that we can dispose of within town, and the organ. So Bradley Beach will get full credit for that at that museum opening. That renovation is taking place right now. So I think the process that Rose went through, she did talk to a number of houses, you know, and online auctions, et cetera. She also worked closely with the Church of the Presidents, which when she came back with a final recommendation and said, we believe this is the best way to go, I think it is, because.
Yeah, I have no issue in terms of the Church of the Seven Presidents, because I think it's a very, important historic, museum. So I'm really just talking about process and not where this is going, but just looking at this resolution. In the following paragraph, that this individual, Rose O'Connor, solicited no fewer than 6 qualified buyers or recipients and identified qualified buyers as listed below. The only 2 listings are the museum in Long Branch and
Well, those are
an
the ones,
antique shop.
those are the ones that are going to actually take
Right,
those items. But
Right,
the
so I'm
other-
just, there hasn't been real transparency about the 6 potential buyers
We
for
could
this.
provide that, I mean, we
Well,
have.
I mean, the resolution references it, so
Right.
I'm just, and then further, the QPA had referenced that the estimated fair value of the artifacts is below the bid threshold, thereby not requiring a public auction. So what is the bid threshold for this?
I don't know what the details of that number are, I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just wondering why this.
That's why we rely on the
closed
PPA to
process.
tell it. Well, again, I think you talk about process here. You have a church with artifacts in it. It took us months to get to somebody who we believed really could deliver. In a church that, it's not a church that you're just gonna walk through and walk around and, it's not in good shape. So I empathize with your point of process, but I don't know if we could have had a much better process than say, we relied on somebody, a professional with credentials. We came in last September, stated what we were, the intent. She went off, got that done and got us a good result.
Right, well, if I can get a moment or two back. So yes, I understand that, and I don't really know what the value of these artifacts are or what the street value is.
Well, it's in the resolution.
Well, I see all of
It's-
the items listed.
It's very close to what she originally estimated, and we did a little bit better.
Well, I mean, it appears that we did better when you look through this list. It appears very formulaic. to me. And I'm just, how did we come up to those dollar figures, relative to the appraised value? I just feel that the process was kind of lacking in specificity. Cataloged items should be better referenced instead of stained glass, large wall length. All of these items really should be very specifically cataloged.
Well, they were cataloged, and we have pictures and a 4-page catalog of those items. Mr. Shamkin, could you,
Right, so I guess, well, he's talking in my ear, and he's saying what I wanted to ask, which was why this wasn't a real bid process where residents, the public would have an opportunity at some of these. If you look at some of the prices of some of these items, some of them are flea market prices, honestly. When you look at, if you just break it down, the pews, 30 pews for $1,000.
Right. Yeah, well, I think Ms. O'Connor, she didn't say it at the meeting, she said it a few times. Over 1,000 churches have closed in the last year in the US. So the market price for a lot of these items, like organs, you basically donate them and give them away.
And that was what was done with
Yeah.
this organ.
Right,
I
because-
understand that, and how Red Barn Antiques is having items donated, given to them. Where does Red Barn Antiques factor into this? It's not something that's local. It's not a local
It was-
antique shop.
Yeah, it was a half a dozen items that they acquired, a couple of kind of throne kind of chairs.
Right,
And
I guess my biggest question is, why was this not a more open process?
Well, it was in the
to give-
context of Rose O'Connor going out to her network of people that procured the stuff. That's what it was.
Yeah, I think that a more formal, bid process should have taken place. These are the public's artifacts. And I appreciate that they're going to the Seven Presidents Church. I think that's a very worthy location. But are we getting the most money for this is a question,
Well, according to the expert, yes.
right?
That's what the expert
And-
tells us.
But we also really closed the opportunity, we closed the opportunity to the public. And certainly, it appears by this resolution, we're not even salvaging anything for the Historical Society, which then it would stay in Bradley's hands.
Yep.
So,
Yep, okay,
thank you.
thank you. Yes,
We have two on the board, just so you know.
Nancy Meadow, Ocean Park Condominium Association. I really didn't intend to speak on the agenda items. We know the bill is a mess, we know this is a mess, we know that is a mess. But listening to what people said about the church and its contents, and having been involved in demolition sales and made a lot of profit on it. I don't understand why we can't just put the pews in here. That would be keeping something for the town, some sort of history. So, to me, that's just like a really simple solution that, should be entertained. We own them. We have numerous trucks, including the $78,000 police truck. We can transport them here. Done deal, as far as I'm concerned. Thank you.
thank you. Yes,
Good evening, Linda Douglas, Legal Help Friendly. I'm also concerned about this resolution, 2024-216. I hope you vote it down, but anyway. It's very insulting to the Historical Society in this town to be overlooked like that. It's sad. Also, I was looking at our website. We used to have videos of the church up there, the 3D panoramic view. It's gone. I can't find it anymore. Is it taken down?
if you can't find it, it may have been taken down.
Well, it
That's
needs
2
to be
years
put
old.
back up because we need to see exactly what's in there. I was concerned, was there any antique lighting, which it's an old structure, it might have had antique lighting in there.
And it does have architectural value for a lot of the buildings inside. But as far as donating to Red Barn, I mean, they should have contacted the Historical Society. Just give them the option to say yes or no. And I think the residents of this town should have been given the option to buy things if we wanted to. I mean, I don't know if anybody would buy a large stained glass window, but somebody might want to buy one of those small green ones. And as far as things being removed, they are already being removed. I've walked past there and windows are now boarded up. What's behind those boards now? On the side, not in the front. The front was done in the
Yeah, the
summer.
boards, there have been.
No, they were not there about a month ago.
Let me answer your question.
Go ahead.
The stained glass has been taken off of the wall, but it's in the building.
How
It's
do you
being-
know that?
I'm telling you it is.
Well, you didn't know anything was removed before. And
There
it
isn't
was
any-
removed, it was removed.
Well, it was
It's
taken,
over.
yes, that, well, removed and it's removed from the building versus taken down and being prepared to leave the building are two different things. Yes,
So
things
we
that
have
come off.
workers in that building doing work.
We have, yes, absolutely.
All right, so I would like to see the book of all the artifacts and the pictures. Can I do that tomorrow?
Yeah, we have that, yeah, we have that.
Because I think it should have been open to the public to view. Cause maybe somebody would wanna purchase something and maybe they would pay more than nothing you donated. You know, I think it was really wrong to do it that way. I don't know what the process is for public auctions, but I think maybe this should have gone to that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes,
Irene Shishias, 112 Fifth Avenue. I'm just
no,
confused.
I'm sorry, you're up, you've already come up.
I can't ask you.
No, one is, sorry. Somebody's on the board?
Yes, Don Greenberg, Don?
Hi, Don Greenberg, 302 Park Place. I'd like to echo some of the other people who have spoken about the artifacts. I think it's unconscionable that the Historical Society was left out of this final conversation. And I urge the council to table this until Mr. Nishampkin and the Historical Society can go through and see if there's anything that they'd like to keep. I'd also like to urge the council to table all the CME resolutions until we get our 2023 audit. Because, if we don't know how much money we have to spend, then why are we spending it? And in addition, the last resolution for the building on the beach, $36,000 to design a few bathrooms. You could build 4 bathrooms for that. So I urge the council to table those resolutions until we have our 2023 audit and the new administration takes charge. And the same with the Lorraine Avenue resolution for the artifacts. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Debbie Hatkins?
See you.
Ms. Hatkins? Okay, maybe she muted herself again. She did have her hand up. Oh, that's the pointer. That's the cursor. We changed that to 2025, please. What's that?
Okay, there's no other questions. We'll go to the next agenda item, which is
Right now, though.
ordinances. There are no ordinances, so we will not have any ordinances. So 32nd. All right, just give me a second. Oh, crap, wait. There are no ordinances, move to communications, there's no communications, resolutions. We have a number of items on the consent agenda. I'll go through those quickly. 2024-202 bill list for December 11, 2024. 2024-203 approval of the Shore Athletic Club to conduct their annual polar bear race on Sunday, December 28, 2024, pastor only. 2024-204 appointment of Police Captain Terry Browning effective October 2nd, 2024. 2024-205 appointment of Police Lieutenant Josephine Solaro effective October 24th, 2024. 2024-206 appointment of Police Sergeant Kevin Gale effective October 24th, 2024. 2024-207 appointment of probationary officer Dan McCrow effective November 22nd, 2024. 2024-208, authorizing the appointment of special class 2 law enforcement officers attending the 59th class at the Monmouth County Police Academy in January. Make a motion to approve the consent agenda. Do I have a second?
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Mr. Gubatesi?
Yes.
Ms. Mahoney?
Yeah,
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Fox?
Yes. Okay, individual resolutions. We'll start with 2024-209, authorizing the transfer of appropriations in the fiscal year 2024 budget. Make a motion to approve 2024-209.
question,
Yes.
I had asked the VA a question about the transfer. 17,000 borough administrator salaries and wages. I asked if this was for the administrator or the administration. She didn't get back to me till later today. She said administration. She didn't clarify what she meant. She answered all my questions at once and said, you know, all of these appropriations are for, you know, things that were in the budget that weren't appropriated. Is that for the administrator or for the administration?
Administration.
It's, so it should be a straight shun, okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, motion to approve 2024-209. Second.
Second,
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Mr. Gubatesi?
My only comment is, as I voted for the 2024 budget without having a lot of information because we were just unable to receive information. Similarly, I don't really have a background on these changes. I was working with Councilwoman Mahoney to hopefully get answers, and they came too late for us to even fully understand the nature of them. That said, end of the year, we need to keep the lights on, and we need to vote in support of this particular resolution. So I will vote yes.
Ms. Mahoney?
I won't be here next year for hoping for more transparency in the budget. I mean, approving a budget where there are numbers headed in to pay for salaries and wages for a potential contract negotiation means that all numbers in a budget can be somewhat suspect. In the interest of moving things along, I too am going to approve this. I say yes.
Councilman Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Fox?
Yes. 2024-210, approval of council business meeting dates for 2025.
Comment on that?
Yep.
Just for the record, I did ask our clerk if we could remove the words tentative if necessary in the August meeting. And I just wanted the rest of the world to know that we're gonna strike those words. We still may choose not to hold 2 meetings in August, but we'll make that decision when we get closer to the date.
Do I have a second?
Second, and we can always add more meetings as well.
Okay. Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Mr. Gubatesi?
Yes.
Ms. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Weber?
I am so happy we're moving a meeting back to Tuesday. And it's great to have been consulted on the meeting, so I vote yes.
Mayor Fox?
Yes. 2024-211, approval of 2025 SCAT agreement with the county. Make a motion to approve 2024-211.
Second,
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Mr. Gubatesi?
Yes.
Ms. Mahoney?
yes.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Fox?
Yes. 2024-212, authorizing the execution of a contract with Star Fire Corporation for 2025 fireworks display. Make a motion to approve 2024-212.
Second.
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Mr. Gubatesi?
Yes.
Ms. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Fox?
Yes. 2024-213, authorizing a 1-year lease extension for the 20.
Oh, I have a question. What am I reading wrong? It says Friday, July 5th with a rain date of Sunday, July 6th. That can't be, can it?
Yeah, I don't have a calendar from.
Let me go grab one. I have one right here. We'll take care of that right now.
Probably is.
Good catch.
Woo!
hard up here.
Either one. Either one of those look great. I think the fourth is on.
So let's see.
July 6th is the Monday.
So it's, I mean, Sunday.
Here we go. So it should be Saturday, July 5th,
Okay.
with a rain date of Sunday, July 6th.
Well, do we mean it on Saturday or we're not? we're definitely-
Yeah, no, it is
No,
for,
Okay,
The day after?
Yeah.
Okay.
so this should say Saturday.
yep. Does it say that in the resolution?
No, the resolution says Friday, July 5th.
Okay,
And
all
it
right.
should say
but I
Saturday
will-
with the rain date of
I'll fix
Sunday.
it, sorry.
What? She said, it should say Saturday, July 5th, with a rain.
Yeah,
date of
Saturday
Sunday,
with a
July
rain
6th.
date of Sunday, July 6th.
So I
We
guess
don't
the
do our
question.
fireworks on this
Erica,
4th of
you're
July.
sure it's on Saturday,
Well,
not Friday?
I think it's Friday.
Do we want to do
What's
them on
Friday?
Friday the fourth?
Let me ask Michelle.
No, it isn't. No, it is not. No, it is the fifth. You're right.
All right.
Sorry. No, what rocked me was the Friday versus Saturday. Yeah, it is. It's not on the fourth because the fourth, the price goes up through the roof.
Yeah, we always do ours the day after and the day
Got
before.
it. Okay. Okay, 124-213, authorizing 1-year lease extension for 2025 surf camp. Motion to approve.
Oh, second.
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Mr. Gubatose?
My quick comment is that I hear nothing but wonderful things about this surf camp. Residents regularly tell me how great it is and they have their kids or their grandkids participate and this organization has reached out to the council on 1 or 2 occasions in the past, telling us how wonderful they think Bradley Beach is and you know, what a wonderful partnership we have. So I enthusiastically vote yes.
Ms. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Fox?
Yes. 2024-214, authorizing 1-year lease extension agreement for 2025 volleyball clinics. Motion to approve 2024-214.
Second. Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Mr. Gubatose?
Yes.
Ms. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Fox?
Yes. 2024-216, authorizing I'm sorry, 2024-215, establishing an annual fee for the 3rd year of the borough's concession license agreement with the Passion Group DBA Coastal ATM LLC for ATM machines for the promenade. Make a motion to approve 2024-215.
Second.
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Mr. Gubatose?
Yes.
Ms. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Fox?
Yes. 2024-216, authorizing disposition of borough property located at 319 Lorraine Avenue. Make a motion to approve 2024-216.
Comments?
Yes.
Please. Well, we've heard a lot of the comments made by residents already this evening. I have many concerns about this particular resolution to remove artifacts from 319 Lorraine, the church. And in particular, the council has really been kept largely in the dark on this. There has been just a spurt of activity over the past couple of weeks that, you know, none of us saw this coming. But just for the record, I need to make sure that it's captured in our minutes, and for those here tonight or listening via Zoom, you can hear a little bit of what the council has gone through. Number one, there's been no collaboration with the council on this. As we were entering the Thanksgiving weekend, actually Wednesday evening, November 27th, 3:39 p.m., the mayor notified the council that and this is a quote, "We've had success in getting all artifacts salvaged and the actual removal will occur over the coming weeks. If you get questions on activity at the site, removal will be going on intermittently between now and year end, and I'll advise when we are complete with that activity."
Wow.
So he let us know, the mayor let us know as we were leaving for Thanksgiving weekend activities that the site was going to have artifacts removed.
What? And I also summarized in that note that
Well, I'll continue, Mr. Mayor.
fine, I'll catch you at the end then.
Thank you. On Monday, December 2nd, which was the Monday immediately following the Thanksgiving weekend. Our municipal attorney notified Mayor Fox of a state statute governing the sale or disposition of borough assets, which typically requires open bidding and a resolution by the governing body. Also, that same day, on Monday, immediately following Thanksgiving weekend, I sent an email to Mayor Fox attempting to make him aware that the removal of borough property without council approval could result in the mayor himself being held personally liable
for the value of the assets removed. The Historic Society then reached out to me and other council members to state their objections to their disposal of artifacts that they believe should be preserved for the Bradley Beach Historical Museum. They believe commitments made to them by the mayor are now being ignored. The nature of the inventory value and pricing list does not appear to reflect competitive bidding required by statutes, and therefore may not reflect the most beneficial pricing of the value of the assets for the borough's taxpayers. Finally, on December 4th, 1 week ago, I asked the mayor, number one, to describe the disposition destination of artifacts already removed, and to explain how the removal of artifacts already begun is legal, by what standard. And three, to reference any prior resolutions approved by the council in this regard. As we are asked to vote on this resolution tonight, my questions have still not been answered. The taxpayers of Bradley Beach deserve much greater transparency regarding the disposition of borough assets, and this council deserves to play a more active role in determining what the best process is for selling these assets as required by our resolution. For these reasons, I believe we should table this resolution until the entire council is given a chance to assure that the disposition of these assets is in the best interest of Bradley Beach and our taxpayers. I'm not making that motion yet. I'm offering that as a comment, but that's what I believe we should be doing tonight.
Yeah, and I would say, I guess my comments relative to this are that we had last September an expert come in, spent a good amount of time inventorying the items, gave us a value, an approximate value. She updated that over a period of weeks. She then painstakingly went to a number of auction houses. She talked to people in the county and came up with this determination. I met with her, I want to say it was 3 weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks ago, when she had a final agreement with the Church of the Presidents to say that they would actually like to acquire the assets. So this isn't something that we've been holding back for months and months and months. This has been a process for months and months and months that Ms. O'Connor has gone through. She priced the stuff, the items pretty reasonably. She has said to us, and I will talk to Mr. Nathan after this, I don't think the Church of the Presidents will use all the pews because there are a number of pews in that church. It's about a third of the size of our church. The other item, the bookcase in the basement, that's right now sitting there. It's not going anywhere because nobody's expressed an interest in it. So those were two of the three items that Mr. Nishampkin mentioned. The other was stained glass behind the altar. That'd be a conversation I have to have with Rose to see if that's doable, which I think it is because she said there would be flexibility. I think we have come across a really great opportunity to think about the organ, the pews, and the stained glass of this church being put into a museum in Long Branch for the Church of the Presidents, I think is just a great opportunity. I don't know, going through step by step with Rose O'Connor, I didn't do that. I didn't think it was necessary because she's the expert. She was out there going after these people. I can tell you, I spent a tremendous amount of time in early 2023 trying to find somebody to take this on. And I really believe when you talk about, I understand residents have an emotional tie to this, and I empathize with that. But at the same time, if you think about an auction process in that church, it would be quite onerous, and who would be responsible for that? I think we can identify items if the Historical Society wants, but then the other question for the Historical Society is where are we putting that stuff?
Yeah, that's okay.
No,
sorry.
I'm not finished.
I thought you were.
So I think I understand the emotion of the moment, but the other thing that we should be cognizant of is I would hate to miss this opportunity. If the Church of the Presidents is expecting, and my instruction to them is, look, we have demolition bids out. They're gonna come in at the end of the year. The new council and mayor may decide to demo in January, so you need to work to get this done. So they have worked on the stained glass. They've taken stained glass down and it's in the building, ready to be transported. The man doing it, that's an art, and it's not something that he specialized and knows how to do. It's not an easy task. So he's been working on that probably for the last 2 weeks since we met, or whatever it was, 3 weeks ago. So I think the right steps are being taken. The update I gave you all before Thanksgiving was around the artifacts, around the land use results, and around the bid specification to try to make sure everybody was on track with, here's the 3 big things going on relative to 319 Lorraine. That was the purpose of that. And to say it was a surprise, wasn't something I was springing on anybody. It was when I got to be able to update and say, here's where we are. I just want to make everybody aware. So that was my intent. If it was taken another way, that's unfortunate.
Well, there's been as you just described, Mr. Mayor, a fairly lengthy process that's been undertaken by, folks who you've directed. Council was not aware. There is a statute that says for disposing of any assets. I mean, if you were talking about selling a police car, you need to get council's approval. Usually when people know they need council's approval, they inform the council, they say, hey, we're at this stage, we're at that stage. This sound good, we're on track, we're on track. Okay, we're complete, council, I'm ready for your approval. None of that happened. So I appreciate, I'm not saying the disposition that you are now presenting to us isn't in fact the best disposition. I'm simply saying none of us know enough about it to sit, at least I'll say for myself, to sit here tonight and vote in favor of this without having any understanding of what's transpired, other than an email or 2 from you.
If we dispose of a police car, a truck, we bring it up, we bring a resolution forward, we approve the resolution. We have a resolution on the table today to transact this. The details of the transaction are in the resolution. Again, I don't know what your expectation is. I mean, if it's sitting down with Rose O'Connor, I mean, this is somebody who I think has worked very diligently to get a result. I don't know what we're gonna gain from that. I'm concerned with the result in the context of if the Church of the Presidents felt like this was on hold or there was a problem with it, I'd hate like heck if they said, you know what, we don't need to, we'll just look elsewhere. And I'm not saying they would do that, but this is an opportunity that I would really hate to miss, because when I think about the beauty of those artifacts and getting placed into a museum of that stature in Monmouth County, that they are paying us for, I would hate to miss that opportunity. And around the context of quotes and dollars, I can only say she's the expert. Anytime I talk to her, she knows what she's talking about. And her point about 1,000 churches closing and a lot of surplus out there, that's a reality. So I think she's worked diligently to get a great result for us. So that's my comments.
I have a question. What was actually the contract of sale? What was actually promised to the Camp Meeting Association? Was it 1 stained glass or was it more?
It was anything they wanted.
Okay, and do we have anything in writing saying that they're getting what they wanted?
We have a contract with the Camp Meeting Association when they transferred the ownership of the building to us. In that contract, it says we reserve the right, if the building is disposed of or demolition, to retain any artifacts that we choose.
And what have they chosen?
They chose a pane of glass about the size of that board up there, and it has the name of Elrod Stokes, who is the founder of the Camp Meeting Association. What they plan to do with that frame or that piece of stained glass is put it in their internal site with a light behind it. So my expectation of them was they were gonna come in and ask for 15 items. They asked for 1.
Do we have that in writing, and is
is this a
There's a
final?
contract, yeah.
Is there a contract saying that this is all we want, we took what we want, and we don't want
No,
anything
they
else?
just communicated to us.
Okay, I would suggest we get that in writing,
Well,
so.
we can retroactively write it up, but they're basically done. They're done with us.
Okay, and you have to have something in writing to say that they're done with us. In addition, you say the building might be torn down in January. And it went in front of the land use board on December 19th. Takes 30 days to read the resolution, and then 45 days after that, you have the official perfection of the subdivision. So you really can't do anything until the building until February 15th. Or after that.
Well, you first have to have the building, I'm sorry, no, you can demo the building.
I don't believe you can do that until you officially perfect the subdivision that went in front of the land use board.
Well, I don't think the subdivision has anything to do with the demo. The subdivision has to do with the purchase of the property by developers or whoever purchased the property.
Or end users, but you have to perfect it. You have to, first of all, have it read as a resolution, then you have 45 days with an
Right.
appeal period.
Right.
So I would say, I would think you wouldn't tear down the building during that time until you have it perfected and that no one has appealed it.
That's a decision you all can make in February.
Right, but I'm saying, I don't believe the building would be torn down in January as you had suggested.
Well, I said, well, what I inferred, I don't know if I said it's gonna come down, I doubt it will come down in January. I think the bids are due on December 20th, that'll be open next Friday, and from that point, there has to be with the successful bidder, a discussion with the successful bidder. And the right date chosen, so that has to occur.
And that would also have to go in front of the council, which we don't have a meeting until sometime in January,
The bid,
the bid.
well, I'm gonna suggest we have a meeting on December 30th to approve that, because that'll be 10 days after the bids come in next Friday, which I've already suggested to you.
I understand that, but I don't feel that it's a time essence, because like I said, the building's not gonna get torn down until after it's perfected. So why rush it?
Because we have once the bids are open, the clock starts ticking on a 60-day the validity of the bid.
And so we have 60 days. Okay, thank you.
Any other comments? Okay, I'll make a motion to approve 2024-216. Do I have a second?
Second,
Mr. Noble,
no.
Mr. Gubatose,
Nope.
Ms. Mahoney,
I just wanna say, we don't want credit for giving the art, selling the artifacts to the Church of the Seven Presidents. We want the opportunity to give the artifacts to the people to whom they belong currently, which is the residents of Bradley Beach. I say no.
Mr. Weber,
He can't vote.
I'm sure he can say that.
Occurred to me that I couldn't vote.
Yes. I'm just taking a page
I'll
from.
abstain, Erica, and I like answering for myself.
thank you. Mayor Fox,
Just trying to give you some help there, Councilman. I vote yes, and I view this as extremely unfortunate. I don't think, that anything's been done incorrectly here. The idea of, this not moving forward to me is extremely egregious in that, we have a unique opportunity to sequence this correctly, get it done, and now we're gonna be into a whole other conversation, and it's certainly gonna put a question mark with the Church of the Presidents. Well, why should we do anything right now? I think it's extremely sad. Okay,
I think for the record, someone should reach out to the Church of the Presidents and say, the council felt blindsided, the council was not kept informed. They're still very interested in getting whatever artifacts they can to the church to preserve these historic artifacts. But the council needs to understand what it is we're giving away, what is it we'd like to keep, and what price we're selling the artifacts for that we want to sell.
that's in the resolution.
And we don't understand it because it was just given to us a set of numbers, a set of values, and a set of prices. And oh, what a surprise. Every price paid is slightly above the value set. Any public auction, which is required by statute, would have all kinds of results. They would have an assessed value and a bid well below, other bids twice as much. This document, Mayor, that you provided to us is very too consistent, honestly, for anyone to believe this was a competitive bid process. So I would like to see a competitive bid process. I would like to have opportunities to salvage all of these artifacts for posterity, working very closely with the Church of the Presidents. This is not a vote against the presidents. This is a vote against the council having to accept something that's been constructed without having any knowledge of how it was done. So let that be part of the record. Church of the Presidents, we'd still love to work with them.
I will contact them tomorrow and have a discussion with them. Hopefully they'll be amenable, but
And we can all, you say people can't go in the building, you understand that you can do an online auction as well. So like Sotheby's has it all the time. We can have other opinions as
Yeah.
to.
Ms. O'Connor stated that. She's very familiar with that. And again, the nature of these particular items, she went the path that she thought was the best path of acquiring a good buyer and a good home for these things, which again, I think was achieved. Okay, 2024-217 bid award for the improvements to Fifth Avenue 2023 municipal aid project. Make a motion to approve 2024-217.
Second.
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Mr. Gubatose?
Yes.
Ms. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Fox?
Yes. 2024-186 authorizing the award of proposal for professional engineering services for land survey services with CME for recreation center improvements.
Yeah,
No.
18.
I'm sorry?
Chapter, the 218, chapter 159.
Skip it. Skip one. It's 218.
Oh, I'm sorry. I've got a different-
That's
Yeah, you probably.
Sorry.
218.
Kind of its own little sentence there, so it's hard to miss.
Chapter 159.
Got it. I'm sorry, 2024-218, chapter 159 resolution. Make a motion to approve 2024-218. Thank you.
Second,
You're welcome.
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Mr. Gubatose?
Yes.
Ms. Mahoney?
Yeah.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Fox?
Yes. 2024-186 authorizing the award of proposals for professional engineering services and land surveying services with CME Associates for recreation center improvements previously tabled on 11/7/2024.
Comments?
Yes.
I'd like to actually make a number of comments related to the proposals we're gonna bid on, that have been proposed to us that we're gonna vote on by CME. Because I took notes as many different residents made comments tonight, asking the council to table these, asking the council to wait until an audit was completed, so we have a better understanding of our finances. And just for the record, I'd like everybody to know, this has been a fairly very, I would say, protracted process. CME, our municipal engineers, provided proposals. Some of these date back to, I think, April and May, to give you a sense. And we scrutinized these to a pretty good degree, to the point that our engineer, Mr. Matlack, revised a number of them and edited them accordingly. So just so everyone knows, a lot of review has gone into this, a lot of discussion. The notion about completing a 2023 audit, keep in mind, when we get the results of the 2023 audit, we still have 2024 financial results that we don't have in front of us. So knowing how close we were, how not close we were in 2023 isn't all that relevant to us, because there's a whole nother year that has passed. So what's probably more important is that we keep the borough progressing to the extent it makes sense. If any given one of these projects don't make sense, we should not approve them. But to the extent these make sense for the borough, that they help us secure grant funding that has been awarded to the borough. That is important, I think, to all of the council, certainly to myself, in considering whether or not to move forward. Some residents just asked us to delay to 25, just so we you know, just so maybe the new council in place at that point could work. And, oh, and there were concerns raised about the magnitude of the dollars of some of these proposals. Most of these proposals are actually, I think, reasonable dollars. They range typically from $30,000 to $50,000. They represent an initial, component of a much broader process. It's doing a survey here or doing some preliminary evaluation there. So most of these you'll hear and see, we're going to vote on our $30,000 to $50,000 type scopes. That might be the promenade extension, for example, that is roughly $4.2 million or so grant, and then maybe another 1.5 million or so borough cost. So it could be a $5 or $6 million project. We're voting on a project that kind of kicks that study off. That might be $30,000. So I just want everyone to know we're not voting tonight on the $5 or $6 million project. We're voting on kicking off a study. And it was noted that we should at least be considering competitive bids on some of these, and I think the mayor responded to that. I just want to echo again. While we may not be competitively bidding these particular proposals, these are, again, initial start-off proposals. We will be in a position, if we decide to do so, to do competitive bids on any or all of the larger projects that would follow this work. So I just want to give everyone an overall sense of what we're talking about. And we can talk about the specific projects in a moment, but overall, CME's done a lot of work just putting this stuff together. And we've also tabled these proposals, I think 3 meetings in a row. And Mr. Malik has revised a number of them at my personal request to make them more, closer to what the council's looking at. So again, just so you know, a lot's gone in behind this, and I think whichever way we vote, project by project, I think the borough will still be in very good shape, and I don't think we're putting anyone at risk. I'm sorry, I wanted to make that comment for all of the next 6 or so votes that we need to make.
Yep, thank you. Okay, motion to approve 2024-186.
This is the Recreation Center.
Yes, recreation. I already read it.
Second,
Mr. Noble,
Yes.
Mr. Gubatose,
I'm saying for the record that we've already had emphasis added in our original documentation for this, that we must work on our pickleball court resurfacing. I don't play pickleball, but I've had many residents reach out to me and demand that we pay a lot of good attention to this, and we will. And with that, I go yes.
Ms. Mahoney,
Thank you for your comments, Mayor-elect Gubatose, regarding the next resolutions, and I vote yes.
Mr. Weber,
Yes.
Mayor Fox.
Yes, 2024-187, authorizing the award of proposal for professional engineering service for CME for Main Street Improvements Phase 1, previously tabled 11/7/2024. Second for 2024-187. Action.
Do we have discussion?
Yeah.
Okay, so this particular proposal, again, I appreciate the efforts. In fact, I've probably driven our engineer, Mr. Malik, a little crazy, challenging him to pull this together in a way that I think makes creates greater clarity for the council. At this juncture, and again, Ben, I see you sitting there. No reflection on your efforts. You've done everything you can, but I don't think we should consider approving this tonight. I'd like to think we would be better served if we table this, because I think we need to have a better definition of scope. I've shared a lot of that with you already. I think we're close, but just for the residents' knowledge, there was a committee. In fact, the mayor and Mr. Weber and our business administrator were all on that committee. So good work has already been done. But the rest of the council still has broader questions about more details of the scope driving the cost. The need and the way grading of the street is done, things like that were not covered by the committee. Perhaps moving utilities underground were not covered by the committee.
Well, no, we covered that.
Okay, well, was it
shared with us.
Well, what we said was, in this 1.4 million, that wasn't practical. And we said, let's prioritize and phase it, hoping that we get the second phase of funding this year, come February. And we would address those in later phases, and we're not doing anything to the street, which would deal with underground utilities, so that was addressed. I guess my question is, the detailed design work is what is up, well, that's what we've done. And maybe Ben, you can explain that some more, but I'm not sure I understand what more. This committee laid it out, we laid out the approximate dollars, and that's not the end game, it's just, this is the way it looks now let's go into a design phase.
It's roughly, I'm gonna round for the benefit of the audience, roughly $200,000. Mayor, roughly how much of that 200,000 is tied to this analysis for grading of the streets?
I don't think any. Because the grade, Ben, you can come on down, Ben. A lot of this deals with the sidewalks and the street
Well, the
lights.
grading in general, grading of the sidewalks.
Yeah, so the cost for our proposal is for the design, preparation of plans, bid specifications, coordination with DOT, and because this project has federal funding, the Federal Highway Authority. Preparation of plans does require detailed grading of the sidewalks, handicap ramps to make sure they're ADA compliant. And once we start touching the sidewalks, because this is federally funded, the project needs to be ADA compliant. So there is a lot of detailed work that goes into it. And it's not a simple drawing to put together, particularly with the level of scrutiny and review that it's going to receive from the state and from the Federal Highway Authority, because not only is it federally funded, but Main Street is a state highway,
State road.
71.
Right.
Right, and you and I have discussed this for the benefit of the rest of the folks listening. I'm not as convinced without understanding that, I would like your deliverable, your work product that we spend $190,000 on. I would like it to provide an overview of implications for moving the utilities underground. I know at this point, that's not part of the proposal. I know the mayor just said, we can do all this other work and not impact the sewers and so forth. I don't know how the mayor knows that. I don't know how you know that. I don't know how any of us know that without talking to the utility companies. There may be opportunities that where they say, hey, before you put streetlights in, we should be talking about tearing up this sidewalk and putting in underground utilities. I don't know, but I think that should be a very preliminary phase of your analysis as you come back to the council and you say, this is the best way to lay this out over a 3 or 5 year plan. Would you disagree?
I don't disagree. I think it's basically a policy decision of the council, how we want to proceed with attacking Main Street. That if the moving utilities underground is a top priority, then that's one of the first things that we'll do. We'll have to set up meetings with JCP&L, who owns most of the utility poles, and discuss that with them, the logistics of doing that and what's required, what work they have to do in order to facilitate that.
What's the approximate cost per block? Is it not like $1 million?
The cost that we've been quoted from JCP&L is $1 million a block.
Right.
Is that before or after we tear up the street?
I don't have that answer. I've asked JCP&L for more of a breakdown of how that cost is. And they have said that, and I think I've told you this before, that they've said that it will cost them about $15,000 to $25,000 to go through that exercise to estimate it. So if the borough wants to do that, they would have to pay JCP&L to do that. And as to this point, there has not been a check written to JCP&L, so they have not done that exercise.
Yeah, I'm simply saying, everyone tells me it's $1 million a block. We just confirmed it again. No one can tell me whether that means after we tear up the street or before we tear up the street. So it's a significant variable that I think should get priced into the equation.
But this Main Street grant is for $1.4 million.
I
What
understand.
we tried to optimize in this $1.4 million is a safety issue and an ongoing kind of wear and tear issue, which is the pavers. We were able to address that. The uniformity of the lights, we were able to address that. The uniformity of the disposal garbage. I understand this, for some reason, is a kind of a pet view of yours to put the utilities underground, but if we do, it would be expensive, everything else. And that's what's disconcerting. The other point is, on this grant and on the Promenade grant, we got these grants last February, March. We are getting calls as to, are you gonna utilize these or not? So, we need to start moving on these things. These have been held up by the budget for months, 6 months, and here we are at the end of the year. Trying to take the next baby step, which is design. We're not spending $1.4 million. We're not spending $5 million. We're not spending, inordinate amounts of money. We're trying to take the next step. So, I hope we don't put ourselves at risk of losing this stuff, because I feel like we're getting to that point. I got a call from, on the Promenade, last week saying they really want to get a clear answer this week. Are we moving forward on this or not? Yeah, so.
Yeah, it's just like so many other things in the borough, and I don't mean this administration, I mean historically, we have paved streets and then 3 years later torn them up to replace sewers. I don't want us to, until you tell us we can do it, I don't want us to start personally doing anything until you've added that one extra variable to the equation. You and I have talked about this, Ben. I know I'm not putting you on the spot, but now I will for 1 second. Adding, well, we just ran out of time on basically, but adding that element to your evaluation. If we table this vote this evening, how much does that throw us off? Are we talking about, can you make a presentation early in 2025 with the revised scope?
So. What revised scope? What revised scope are you
The
talking?
revised scope, I'm asking him to include, that would give us a sense for moving utilities underground. Where would that fit into a 5-year plan?
So, to have the initial meeting with JCP&L, I can incorporate that into our current scope. I couldn't tell you exactly what would be required of us until we actually have that meeting. Because like I said, a lot of the work is to be done by JCP&L. It's their infrastructure, their utility poles. They would have to do their own design, and they would be most likely be the ones constructing it.
Right.
So I couldn't tell you exactly right now how it would impact this proposal, but for the purposes of just having that initial meeting and discussion, it doesn't impact us.
Just to be clear, it does not.
It does not impact our cost that's in the proposal.
I personally, I think I don't think what I'm expecting extra from CME, I don't think it's a lot of your time. Could be in your world, 10,000 of fees or something, but I don't think it's a lot. But I think it's very important that we have a clear vision of what we want to do with Main Street before we start, changing the lampposts. So all I'm suggesting is that we would all be better served, Bradley Beach would be better served if we give you a little more time to help us, totally prepare a strategic vision for Main Street.
But we sent a report out to the council probably a month and a half, 2 months ago, saying specifically what was in that design.
Yes, the report was sent out that detailed the discussions that we had as in the committee.
And the outcome.
To discuss Main Street, yes.
And are 70% of the lights facing up or facing down, for example?
Right. They're facing down.
Exactly. And that is that is putting some new pavement on the street before we rip up the sewers. I'd like to understand, before we address those points, a much broader issue. Once you say, well, we can do all those things and still be able to move the utilities underground, or there's no way you can move the utilities underground. Either way, then we can move forward with putting the lights facing up or facing down. That's how I'm viewing this.
In addition, there's a few poles, I know they're supposed to lean, but they're so unattractive. So maybe they can address that. If we can't put them underground, we have to have a better look. We can't have these crooked poles that look like it's gonna fall in the street.
We just need more time, I think, and I think we'd be better served, as long as it doesn't cripple CME. I think we'd be better served tabling this to our next meeting.
Well, I think we're in the red zone from a funding perspective with the state and federal government.
Is that true, Mr. Mallard?
I don't know the details of that. I don't get the calls from.
For the Main Street and the promenade, I have not heard anything on Sylvan Lake.
The promenade, we were told that we have a deadline.
Yes.
The Main Street, I thought we had
We got a
until
request,
26.
we got a request from Palum's office over 2 weeks ago saying, what's up with this? Because the question they're asking too is, we put in for $5 million for second phase that we want to get awarded this February. I mean, if I'm sitting in that chair saying, well, I haven't done anything with this, what should we do with the 5 million? And we haven't responded to them yet. We're waiting on this meeting to say, we've moved forward, in design, we're on track.
That's a reflection of the council needing more input than we've received to date. And again, with your best efforts.
See, I don't agree with that at all. I think we have had a committee, we gave a report. We've had this on the docket since May.
I've been asking about underground utilities.
Yeah, but you've been asking, Councilman, but the issue with, for years, but the issue with, which I just don't understand why this isn't processing is everybody we talk to says underground utilities are an extreme expense, very expensive to do. Our question is around trade-offs. Do we want to invest all our money in underground utilities and leave the look of Main Street as it is? Or do we want to improve the look of Main Street and continue to look for funding to complete all those spaces? That's the question at hand, I think, right now. Underground utilities, if you're building a development in the Midwest, you can start that way. When you're already there, it's real tough to change. It is my understanding. Don't correct me if I'm wrong.
That's my understanding as well. I can't tell you what percentage of that $1 million a block is associated with the restoration work versus the actual infrastructure. I'd be pretty confidently saying it's more than 50% is the infrastructure. Probably much higher than that, but I can't tell you for sure. So I can certainly set up a meeting with our JCP&L government liaison who happens to live in Bradley Beach. So that'll be
Frank, yeah.
easy to do, and we can go from there.
Yeah, I understand too, just another point on JCP&L. JCP&L, we put out, I think earlier this year, they're embarking on a $2 billion infrastructure improvement process around relay stations and improving the consistency and the capability. That's where they're focused right now. I'm not sure we're gonna get a lot of play from them on looking at an underground utility process right now. They're pretty and well, JCP&L's got their own backlog of stuff that they're working on. Trying to get a light bulb changed on the promenade is a challenge in and of itself by them, because they own that. Yeah. Okay, any more discussion? Thanks, man.
Thank you.
So make a motion to approve 2024-187.
Mrs. Noble? No. Mr. Gubatose?
I'd like our council to guide me for a second here, Greg, if you could. If we, I think the alternative that I was expecting to pursue would be tabling, but the mayor's made a motion and we've got one no vote. If we continue to no vote, can I then separately make a motion to table this, or I just need to reintroduce it at a
Well,
next?
the particular resolution you're voting on right now would be defeated.
Right,
And then you can make a motion as to the rest of it if you'd like.
sorry.
You could make the motion as to the rest of it, if that was your pleasure.
Can we bring it?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said. Say it one more time.
Yes, if he could move to table them all.
Yeah, I
So
heard
if you've already voted on this one, if it's,
No, I think it's just this particular one you're talking about, not all.
Just,
I mean, the motion's
The
been
one
made
we're
and seconded.
at right now.
We're in the middle of the roll
voting,
call.
and I'm in the middle of a roll call, right?
You voted up or down? That's your choices at this moment as to this resolution.
And if we vote it down, can I introduce a motion to consider this at our next meeting?
Yeah, yes. It's just a resolution. You can reverse that decision at a future meeting or not.
Okay, thank
We
you.
don't need another motion to say that we can do it at the next meeting. We can just make a resolution and do it at the next meeting.
Yeah, you can.
Correct.
We don't need a motion
Yeah,
at
I'm
this
sorry, I
point to say we
was
do
too good about that. Yeah, exactly what Councilman Weber just described. Yeah. Bring it back, just the resolutions.
Just want to make sure that it
Special
wasn't
services.
like dead forever. I could reintroduce it. I will vote no.
Mahoney,
No,
Mr. Weber,
Yes,
Mayor Fox.
Yes. 2024-188, authorizing the award of proposal for professional engineering services for land surveying services CME for Sylvan Lake improvements. Make a motion to approve 2024-188.
Second,
Mr. Noble? Yes. Mr. Gubatose?
yes.
Ms. Mahoney?
yes,
Mr. Weber?
yes,
Mayor Fox.
Yes. 2024-189, authorizing the award of authorizing the award of proposal for professional engineering services with CME Associates for the Promenade Extension Phase 1, previously tabled 11/7/2024. Make a motion to approve 2024-189.
second,
Mr. Noble? Yes. Mr. Gubatose?
Yes,
Mr. Weber?
yes,
Ms. Mahoney?
sorry, yes.
Mayor Fox.
Yes.
I didn't even catch that.
2024-190, authorizing the award of proposals for professional architectural services and engineering services to CME Associates for development of the existing vacant building located at 54 Ocean Avenue, previously table 11/7/2024. Yes.
okay, discussion on this is the sewer pump station for everybody, you know, the vacant building at 54 Ocean. And I just want to make sure in this resolution, two things. One, I don't think we should be considering phase two. I think the mayor himself said earlier tonight, we should be focusing on phase one because we have grant funding totaling $50,000. And these components total 50,000. So I think we should suggest eliminating phase two from our vote. And secondly, the council's been pretty clear that we don't want this building to, and any recommendations that come, design recommendations that come from CMA, we don't want those recommendations to be in conflict with CAFRA requirements. Doesn't do us much good if Mr. Matlack presents a design that doesn't work with CAFRA. So we want design elements to comply with CAFRA. And we want to make sure that we stay within the footprint of the building. I think we've all been saying that for a number of meetings. I would suggest two edits to this document. One is strike the phase two, that I don't think we should approve that now. And two, perhaps under phase one, the design phase services, if we could say CAFRA compliant design phase services, just so I think that cleanly says you're gonna stay in the footprint and you're gonna be CAFRA compliant.
Can we add within the footprint?
CAFRA compliant design phase services within building footprint. Those would be my two recommendations for edits.
Greg, does that,
We need a motion to amend resolution 2024-190 to indicate that the suggestion should be CAFRA compliant in the footprint of the building and that only for phase one as listed in this resolution.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we amend this resolution to insert wording that says CAFRA compliant design phase services that are within the footprint of the building. And we also added it to remove the phase two component of this current resolution.
Second.
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Mr. Gubatose?
Yes.
Ms. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Fox?
Yes.
Somebody please send me that link.
Oh, we got that. Everybody got that.
I got you. Okay, I think that's it for resolution.
No, we need to, I'm sorry, we still need to
Thank
vote
you.
on the amended.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, make a mo, yeah, so make a
I'm
motion.
sorry, where are we here?
Well, we just voted to amend it, now we need to vote.
Oh, vote on the resolution itself. Okay, gotcha. Who made the second?
Okay.
Thank you. Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Mr. Gubatose?
Yes.
Ms. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Fox?
Yes. Okay, we'll move on to announcements. There are none, mayor and council reports. Second. Sorry. Okay, I can start. Certainly the holiday season is in full swing. We began as we do each year with Good Works. Last Friday, or 2 Fridays ago, on November 22nd, some 80 volunteers from the Bradley Food Pantry distributed 600 Thanksgiving dinners on a windy, chilly Ocean Avenue, but mission was accomplished. Their next big event is is actually next Friday, December 20th, which is their Christmas distribution. That's gonna happen at their new site. They're working on logistics on that right now. Please support this important event. Next, the annual Thanksgiving bonfire went off without a hitch. A few hundred residents braved the cold and visitors joined us. It was a great evening. Now on to Sunday of Thanksgiving week. The Merry Market at the Rec Center was a big success. Then our annual tree lighting took place from 4 to 6. Police held a toy drive. Neptune High School Scarlet Sound a cappella choir performed at the bandstand. We had some hot chocolate and cotton candy, horse-drawn carriage rides around the park. And then the tree lighting. One of our residents, 7-year-old Remy from McCabe Avenue, hit the button and the lights on the tree went on. And then a Christmas miracle, we had a snow squall. Courtesy of J.R. Fronheim, who braved a cherry picker above the site for some 2 hours in nothing but a hoodie. So anytime, if you see J.R. around, thank him. Santa then made his appearance, and to the delight of the children, I'll cover some other events in a bit, but just let people know additionally that there will be a menorah lighting on December 25th at 5 o'clock at Riley Park. And I'll put some more information out on that shortly. They're working out some of the details on that right now. And just to mention, the temple, on, Tuesday, I can't, what day was it? I can't remember.
Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
It was Thursday.
Thursday. It was last. like,
It was
yeah,
just this,
yeah,
there.
I'm losing sight of days.
Yeah.
Held a Thanksgiving meal for our first responders and elected officials at their renovated dining area. It was a great event, and they're just a very thankful group, and we very much appreciate that community within our community. Library tomorrow, Thursday, December 18th at 6 p.m. The holiday concert with Florian Schanz Jazz Combo. Continue to ring in the season with winter favorites set to their combo. It's free family program, but registration is required. Recreation on the 14th, which I think is Friday, we have the Rec Center's Grinchgrams. There's more on the website about that. And on the 15th, there's Breakfast with Santa at the Rec Center. More information on the website. Mayor's Wellness Campaign. 3 municipalities that achieved Gold Award in 2023, Healthy Town Award designation, were asked to present at the League of Municipalities meeting in November. In addition to Bradley Beach, Bergenfield, Borough, and Montgomery Township presented their respective stories to attaining excellence within a Healthy Town designation. Wanted to thank Barb Johnston and Liz Hernandez publicly, who kind of developed the presentation and worked with me to convey what we have been doing in the last few years. I won't go through too much on 319 Lorraine, except to say that the bid package for demolition is for prospective bidders is out. We'll get bids in next week. We have had prospective bidders tour the facilities, and we have, I think, some more scheduled between now and Friday. We anticipate a successful bidder on the 20th. on that. So 2024 is almost in the books. We've had some ups and downs, but I think we came out ahead. It all starts with the collective efforts of our municipal employees, our professionals, and our volunteers. We can't thank them enough. I'm just gonna go through very quickly, kind of a little bit of a time capsule of the year. We kind of started the year with a support to our Jewish community on the October 7th atrocity. We started a Zooming for Wellness process. The police department certainly had some issues in the Jan Feb, but we followed with a new police chief, followed by a succession of promotions that culminated tonight with a complete force. Our pantry move, the Bradley Pantry, they held a $70,000 fundraiser to help accommodate that fundraiser. We had significant success with grants, Main Street, the Promenade, Sewer, Sylvan Lake Recreation. We had some budget struggles that they finally got resolved. 319 Lorraine, I think we've gone from the end of the beginning to the beginning of the end. I guess we'll see. Infrastructure, Lake Terrace Park, we finished those enhancements. Sewers, Park Place, Ocean Park, and Fifth Avenue. We had a January jam for our first responders. The BBCA ran that. Driving Miss Daisy was a big hit. But we lost Julia Rand this year. That was her last performance. And I'd recommend the council next year change the name of the Arts Council to the Julia Rand Arts Council. I think that would be a fitting tribute to her. We had some hoops recognition for the elementary school girls. We got gold designation for the mayor's wellness campaign. We continued with a lot of 2 beach sweeps that were very successful. We had 5 new additions to Sylvan Lake, 5 swans that continue to thrive. We passed the lifeguard leadership torch and we had a big save of a visitor on North Avenue Beach. We had a great summer. We exceeded $2 million in badge sales. Our seniors celebrated their 30th anniversary. We got a great Juneteenth celebration at the library. We expanded our summer shuttles. July 4th, the 63rd Army Unit came in and did a great job. The USFC contract, we're still working on it. We're trying. Geese management improvement, significant improvement there. It cost us a few more dollars, but we think we finally got to a draw or maybe even a win with the geese. We had a great night out on the National Night Out. Cinema Labs has been slow. And I can't say anything but that at this point. They still say they have a plan, but we'll see. Agadah Ahim, our temple, had their 100th year celebration. We passed a referendum to assess the form of government. We withdrew from the affordable housing community obligation. So these are about 30 highlights that I just kind of got down that we often think we don't get things done or things are slow. We do get things done. And I certainly appreciate everybody who's made those things happen. So I will now turn it over to Council President Bill.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm the liaison for the Shade Tree Commission. So they had a meeting on December 4th. They had 4 applications. They're removing 8 trees at the locations of 307 4th Avenue, 200 Fletcher Lake Avenue, 415 Park Place Avenue, and 400 Evergreen Avenue. The good news is they're going to have 6 replacements plus a $1,000 fee on the set for one that's not being replaced. Their account is currently $11,900. Tourism. The Merry Market was held on December 1st and had lots of holiday shoppers and that visited the vendors. Thanks to the local musician Ronnie Brandt for filling the rec center with holiday tunes. And thank you to the volunteers, CJ and Sal, as well as Rosemary Ballooney for working in the cafe. And thanks to Adela Hall and Rafaela Shireen for keeping the kids' craft station going. The tree lighting had its largest audience with live music from Peace Plus One, Horse and Carriage Rides, a wonderful performance by Neptune High School's Scarlet Sound. Thank you, Amy Hall, for that. And snow. And special thanks to Girl Scout Troop 54 for handing out cookies and cocoa, as well as Jordan Farrar for making the cotton candy. Amy Hall stated that Bradley Beach is not just a destination. It's a community committed to crafting unforgettable experiences for all. And we invite families and tourists alike to join us in celebrating the ongoing vibrancy of our small town. Special thanks to the Tourism Commission, Amy Hall, also Michelle Willie, DPW, the police department, the fire department, the first aid, and everyone else behind the scenes that made it such a special event and such a huge success. And next is the Jazz Festival. Stay tuned. February 7th and 8th, mark your calendar. It'll be held in the historic Bradley Beach Elementary School Theater. Tickets are free, but you must reserve them as seating is limited. Visit the borough website for more details. With the school, the Bradley Beach Elementary School has named the Teacher of the Year, Mrs. Laurel Degnan, and Education Service Provider of the Year, and Mrs. Anya Angeloni. Both have had outstanding contributions to the school community. Bless you, John Weber. Next, we are proud of the strong partnership we have with the Bradley Beach Police Department. Last week, they held an evening training session at the school to enhance emergency preparedness. Their ongoing collaboration ensures the safety of our students and staff, and we're grateful for their dedication. And we also want to thank everyone who contributed to the holiday giving drive and supported the local food pantry, making a meaningful difference for the many of our families. And lastly, they were also named a Sustainable Jersey School, a recognition that reflects our commitment to sustainability and our strong connection to our community. And Dr. Heidelberg and the staff wish the council and the residents a happy and healthy holiday season. And I want to also add the Bradley Beach Historical Society has a new curated exhibit in the Biasi Center. I had the honor of cutting the ribbon for them on December 7th. I believe it was on Sunday at 2:00. They also had many speakers come in that were multi-generational families here and all different heritages. It was really interesting, and I want to thank them for all their work. They're all volunteers, and their work is very important, and it's very appreciated. And that completes my report. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilman Gubatosi.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Once again, I thank Captain Terry Browning, who provides me my regular police reports. And he did provide a pretty active one for us to close out 2024. Since the last meeting, we've had the following activity. An area man was arrested for possession of controlled dangerous substance, cocaine, possession of a drug paraphernalia, crack pipe, and hindering apprehension. He also had an active contempt of court warrant and was in the company of another local area man who had a separate contempt of court warrant. Police encountered a subject acting strange on the train tracks, and he was subsequently arrested for providing police with false information and public nuisance. Police made three separate arrests on three separate occasions for subjects driving while intoxicated. A total of 6 individuals were also arrested for active contempt of court warrants during the last reporting period. And then he wishes me a happy holiday. Speaking of that, I would like to note that this probably does represent the last council meeting of the year for this council. Thank you in the audience here and on Zoom for attending today. But for most of our residents, this will also be my last chance this year to state my gratitude for this community that consistently challenges every one of these council members to serve Bradley Beach and to make this a wonderful place to live. I want to wish everyone wonderful and healthy holidays over the weeks ahead. Let's all enjoy our families and our friends. And let's return in 2025 energized to work together to make a wonderful Bradley Beach even better. Happy holidays. Happy holidays.
Okay, Councilwoman Mahoney.
Thanks. Hi, everybody, and thanks for coming to our last council meeting of 2024. I also went to the tree lighting and the bonfire. And I brought some friends with me and we had a great time, and the snow was amazing. I thought it was a great addition because I got some really amazing photos. The Environmental Commission met on December 2nd, and during that meeting hosted in conjunction with the Borough of Bradley Beach OEM, Joe Martucci of Trax 57 News, who gave an outlook on the winter weather for Bradley Beach. I'll let you know what he said. December should be cold the first half of the month with little snow. It was cold. It was cold. But we should see a warmer second half of December. If the polar vortex does not show up in January, we won't have cold air and probably won't have much cold weather. We could get days in the 50s and 60s in January. The first half of February is our best chance of snow. And expect mild temperatures for March as well. So it doesn't look like it's gonna be too bad. Thank you to Joe Martucci for his program. The Land Use Board met on November 21st. The board approved a variance for a ribbon driveway on Monmouth Avenue. It was brought to the board's attention that ribbon driveways have been deemed unacceptable in the borough depending on the interpretation of our ordinances. And the suggestion was made to the board that they include in a report to the council to revisit ordinance 450-41A6 and to ensure our ordinance is clear on the permissibility of such driveways. The board also approved 7-0 after the recusal of Mayor Fox, Mr. Marco, and myself, the initial and final application for the subdivision of 317-19 Lorraine Avenue, also known as the church property. The applicant, which was the borough, also sought and was granted waivers for the following documents and checklists. Size and location of all existing and proposed structures and length measurements of perimeter building and walls dimensioned. Size and location of all existing structures within 200 feet of the site boundaries. And a grading and utility plan. Residents within 200 feet of the property boundary showed up to express concerns regarding the lack of a grading plan and the potential impact of stormwater runoff. The board will meet again on December 21st. I want to wish all of our residents and employees a fabulous holiday season and a happy new year. This will be my last council meeting. It has been an eye-opening pleasure working for all of you and the rest of the residents of Bradley Beach these past 14 months. I leave this position with my only regret being that I am unable to continue serving Bradley Beach in this capacity. I'm excited about the future of Bradley Beach, the capable minds and hardworking hands who will be doing an incredible amount of work in 2025 and beyond. I look forward to an increasing sense of community, fairness, especially for our local 152, transparency, fiscal responsibility, trust, inclusive decision-making, and respect for residents in 2025. There is an African proverb, which with some of you, I'm sure, are familiar. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. I'm excited to see how far Bradley Beach can go, how much better we can be together. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
They got the first aid squad. So for the, and then a few other things. So for the period ending today, the squad responded to 25 day calls and 16 night calls for 41 calls. 25 were for medical, 16 were for fire calls. The squad provided medical overwatch for the Bradley Beach annual bonfire and Santa in the Park tree lighting, which I should just say, you know, when we go to these things and we're having fun and you know, our volunteers are there making sure that, God forbid, if something happens, like they're ready. So they're basically working when we're all having fun at every single one of these events. Anyway, the squad requested one mutual aid from Neptune EMS for this operational period. And that meant that they fulfilled 98% of their assignments for this operational period. As always, they're looking for volunteers. There's free training for qualified people. Anyone who wants to volunteer with the First Aid Squad, you can find the applications on the borough's website. They're accepting applications for their cadet program for young people 16 to 18 years of age. If they're interested in serving the community. And for the fire report is landscapes for some reason. I don't understand why, but so for the month that ended November 30th, fire department responded to 10 day calls, 3 night calls for a total of 13 calls. 1 was for fire, 9 were for alarm activations, 3 were carbon monoxide alarm activations. The department conducted 1 training for hydrant operations. The department also conducted a standby operation at the bonfire on the beach. There were no mutual aid requests for the fire department. They're happy to report they had 1 new firefighter application pending And the department fulfilled 100% of their assignments for this period. The same as first aid, they're always looking for volunteers. They offer free training for qualified individuals. Anyone wishing to volunteer can find application on the borough website. Let's see, now regular comments. I was at the tree lighting. The tree lighting, of course, was great. I want to congratulate the members of the Charter Study Commission, who I guess basically got sworn into office and had their first meeting, I think, something like that. So they have some work to do. And we all know what that's about. So Fletcher Lake Commission, I will kind of say what the mayor said. The residents are really happy about the geese removal that happened, I guess, through late summer and early fall. The commission got great feedback about and praise, and the town got great feedback and praise regarding this geese removal. That geese removal plan cost $5,000, and we split it evenly with Neptune. The town wasn't in a position to pay it before we had the budget passed, so the Fletcher Lake Commission went ahead and paid it. They want to re-up with this geese control company, and the contractor would like to execute the contract for 2025 as soon as possible. Now, something else about the lake commissions, people should just know, the town pays $3,000. They give them $3,000 basically as a stipend to each lake commission, just for them to operate. Money doesn't come with any strings attached. It's just owed to each commission each calendar year. On a bills list back in October, we approved a check for $2,550 to the Fletcher Lake Commission. So obviously the amount was wrong. The check was returned and a letter was submitted by the Fletcher Lake Commission saying that the Fletcher Lake Commission believes they are owed the $2,500. They paid the contractor for the geese removal in the summer, and they believe they are also owed the $3,000 stipend for the year of 2024. Hopefully we can get this settled before the end of the year, and then they can work on paying the goose guy for 2025 as well. Kristen, you won us over with your commitment to transparency. And I think you should still be able to film a debate on your phone, and you probably think the same thing too. But it turns out there's a lot more to you, which made you a great candidate for council. Your attention to detail in financial documents and your willingness to go over and over and over all the budget documents that made you a real asset up here. I've enjoyed sitting next to you and passing the occasional joke and hoping the public didn't notice or hear. So I just want to thank you for your friendship, and I'm happy that you're not going anywhere and that I will see you around town. So you got it. All right, and Mr. Mayor, I want to recognize how hard you have worked as the mayor of this town. There are several infrastructure projects that will likely happen that you have put into motion from happening here tonight. In particular, I'd like to thank you for hearing me out on the need for the southern third of our beachfront to get better protected by bulkhead. When you heard that, you got it and you acted, and as a result, there's a big grant coming to the town for that. And if that project ends up being built, you will have had a hand in it. So thank you for that. I wish you the best in the rest of your retirement. And I wish the best for your family, and I hope everyone stays happy and healthy. And thank you, and that's my report.
Thank you, Councilman. Okay, we are now at the comments portion of the meeting. Yep. Take over.
I have a bit of reality check to add to the mayor's crime tackle. I think the public will reflect on his version of the events of the last year a little differently, as predictable. He leaves, which is part of the course. I've titled this "Farewell, Fox." As we bid farewell to you, Larry Fox, it's imperative to reflect on your tenure, which will be forever remembered as the darkest chapter in the history of Bradley Beach. Mayor Fox's administration has been marred by scandal, corruption, mismanagement, and a blatant disregard for the well-being of our community. One of the most egregious actions under Mayor Fox's leadership was his cover-up of the ex-chief of police, Leonard Guida. Mayor Fox's mismanagement of public tax money resulted in multiple material misstatements in the 2022 audit, a clear indication of his inability to handle the borough's finances responsibly. Others, like myself, still believe it was criminal in nature and rooted in RICO activity and a criminal network actively operating within our borough government. Adding insult to injury, the 2023 audit and both the 22 and 23 corrective action plans remain past due, leaving residents in the dark about the true state of our finances. Mayor Fox's tenure has been characterized by a pattern of enriching his cronies and political friends at the expense of the taxpayers. Without our permission or consent, he used taxpayer and residents' money to sue our duly elected officials in a desperate attempt to hold on to power and cover up his criminal activities from being exposed. His behavior towards residents who dared to call out his illegal activities have been nothing short of disgraceful. He's been rude, nasty, insulting, and dismissive, even going so far as to threaten those who spoke out against him. Under Mayor Fox's administration, borough ordinances have been weaponized and selectively enforced against residents, creating an atmosphere of fear and intimidation. Meanwhile, he personally and blatantly violated borough ordinances without repercussions. His actions and inactions have left our borough vulnerable to multiple justified lawsuits, further draining our already depleted resources. He allowed our police officers to be obscenely abused without taking any action to protect them. And for 2 years, he failed to negotiate a fair contract for borough employees, leaving them in a state of financial uncertainty and personal frustration. Mayor Fox's divisive leadership has created a rift in our community never before seen in our lifetimes. His reckless financial decisions have depleted our reserves to the point of near bankruptcy and insolvency. He has increased our taxes to a record high of 21%, placing an undue burden on the residents of Bradley Beach. As we look to the future, we are thrilled to see Mayor Fox go. His departure marks the end of an era of corruption, mismanagement, and division. Now we can begin to heal under the mayorship of a true leader who possesses integrity, honesty, and has the best interests of the residents at heart. It is time for Bradley Beach to move forward and rebuild the trust and the unity that Mayor Fox so frivolously and carelessly destroyed. Let us never forget how we got here. Ex-Mayor Gary Engelstadt endorsed Larry Fox, who was elected despite never having attended a single council meeting before holding the office of mayor. Mayor Fox will not be missed, and his legacy will serve as a stark reminder of the importance of accountable and transparent leadership. Let us embrace this opportunity to restore the community and work together towards a brighter future. And with that, I want to thank all of you, each and one of them, including council and Erica, for enduring the last 4 years, and you conducted yourself with class and professionalism in the face of some very, very uncomfortable situations that none of it should have ever been placed in. And I want to thank Councilwoman Mahoney personally for everything that she's done in the last year and being thrown into a situation that I don't think any one of us would have wanted to be in. And I really look forward to the next year. And I will never, ever, and I personally hold myself responsible for my part in not participating or paying attention up until July of 2023. But after the last year and a half, I've learned a lot. I'm going to start volunteering. I'm going to start becoming more involved, and I encourage everybody to do the same. And I will never, ever not pay attention to what goes on in my community ever again. And with that, I wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and all of your families. I wish you happiness and health in the coming year, and thank you for your hard work.
Thank you. Thank you, and Merry Christmas, and we look forward to working with you next year as well. Yes, Mr. Cohen.
Thomas J. Cohen, 612 Florida. If you could indulge me for just a second,
Oh, no.
Council President, I'd like to prepare something which was handled improperly. Councilwoman Greenback, would you please sit up here for the balance of the meeting?
Oh.
Make a comment from there where they should be made. Just another injustice fixed here in Bradley Beach. I would like to address the subdivision which was done in the church. I attended the meeting. I've attended, I'm not exaggerating, 1,000 planning and zoning board meetings. I was very disappointed in the fact that the town would apply to their own land use board and submit incomplete documents and ask for waivers. Waivers are variances. They're relief from the checklist items which protect the people of the borough. To have 5 people noticed within 200 feet, all ask for a zoning plan, and they're denied the zoning plan. It was the most embarrassing thing. So I would request that the Borough of Bradley Beach, being the council, reapply in January to the land use board for a bifurcated application, including a grading plan to protect the people. You have a 1/2 acre parcel you can properly grade. The last time it was graded was 100 years ago. Make sure it operates properly for the residents who live near there. Do the preliminary approval as should have been done in the beginning. Once the building is torn down, then the town would come back for the final approval. I just like things to be done properly. The application was not presented well. They also snuck in keeping the parsonage. Well, there was no testimony that the parsonage didn't need variances to remain there. No testimony. Oh, we're just drawing lot lines. No, that's not what you're doing. So I would request that in 2025 in January, you would do that. You know, the residents have an emotional attachment to the items that are in the church. But you know what the residents also have? An emotional attachment to the statutes of the state of New Jersey, which protect their items. So I would appreciate it if that process was followed properly. And, you know, Mayor Fox is not here, but, you know, Mayor Gubitosi, Mayor-elect Gubitosi, I just, for 4 years, I've heard, I think, I look forward to a mayor who says, I know. That's the kind of mayor I'm looking for. So I'm sure you'll be able to have the answers. And you know, we've had a unique opportunity in November, and it was really fortunate for our residents to have elected Councilman Gubitosi. And I really look forward to 2025 and all the residents who attend all the meetings. We really appreciate all your support coming out for the town, and we appreciate everything you do, Council. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh,
I actually had a.
Councilwoman-elect?
Well, well, I think I'm not supposed to speak when I'm up here, so I'm still here. I'm still left, but thank you, PJ. I thought I would hear a little bit of clarity of 2024-217 for the awards improvements of Fifth Avenue, and it's a 2023 municipal aid project. Can anyone share some clarity as to what exactly that is, and was that money that was appropriated in 2023 and is being transferred into 2024?
I know Councilwoman Mahoney did ask the.
I did some asking. Oh, yeah.
Do you have any idea why this has 2023?
Sure. To 23.
Oh, yeah, it does say additionally, Mr. Matlack will be available tonight for questions. So, ta-da.
Sure, this is a 2023 NJDOT municipal aid grant that the borough has, and we're utilizing it now. We also have a 2024 grant, and congratulations, 2025 grant were just announced this past week. We received another one, so we'll be doing some additional work coming.
Did we not do this until now because of the budget delay? Is that part of it?
That was part of it. There was a little bit of back and forth with the design, and then it had to go through a DOT review process that was kind of lengthy from what I'm used to, but it's been done, and we're to the point where it's now been awarded by the council, which is good. And so we'll move it forward into construction.
Can you tell us what construction will take place? Can you share that with us?
It's most likely going to be in the early spring. It'll start, and paving will be probably March, April.
So it's paving.
Yes.
Paving Fifth Avenue. We're paving Fifth Avenue.
Paving Fifth Avenue.
Okay.
Great, thank you.
So the paving of Fifth Avenue is $360,000.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that's how much it is to pay.
And we have the 319 grant.
It's the, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you.
That's okay.
It's the paving of the I'm trying to get my blocks correct. 400, 500 block of Fifth Avenue, as well as lining the sewer main. from Main Street to Madison Avenue.
But this is the sewer budget?
It's, I don't know the details of the budget, that's beyond my favor.
I mean, the sewer lining, which be related to the sewer budget, is that correct?
Yeah, you pay for it from the sewer utility.
This is like what the council.
Wait, did you say-
was talking about, so we're not paving the road and then tearing it up a year later to do anything to the sewers, and what was the dollar amount?
360.
No, but I mean, that we got a grant from the state for,
19.
okay, so this is, yeah.
Ben, did you say sewer lining?
Yeah,
Yes.
I was gonna say.
When did we agree to line sewers?
Then what is that sewer line? I mean, are we still gonna have to tear up the 120-year-old sewers at some point?
So the lining process is, I mean, exactly what it sounds like. You line the interior of the sewer main. And it's basically with an inflatable tube that cures once you react it with an agent, and it hardens in place, and that becomes the new sewer main. And that we reviewed the sewers, they are a candidate for this process. Not every sewer main in town is a candidate. For example, the one we just did on Park Place Avenue was not a candidate. There were collapses and offset joints in that main that would not allow us to line that one. So that one was replaced. This one was a candidate for this process, so it was done this way.
I thought that's only good for 25 years lining.
That's probably pretty accurate.
Wasn't aware that we were doing sewer lining, but
I think we can continue that discussion next year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I have one other quick question, if it's okay. I believe that the borough owns a menorah. In past years, it's been put out in Riley Park.
Yeah.
I wish Mayor Fox was here, because I'm just wondering why it's not out.
Maybe we can ask Pat, do you know anything about the menorah? Okay, Mike, Big Mike, do you guys have, do you know where it is?
Yes, yeah.
Can we get it out maybe
Isn't the
sooner
first-
than later?
Yes.
I know
It's very late this year.
Hanukkah, well, so it's the same day as Christmas,
It's the same
so,
day as Christmas, all the
Right.
Christmas decorations are out.
yeah, December 25th.
Yeah.
I don't think they were saying light, it just.
Right.
Right, let's put it out, right.
Exactly.
Aguda Pekin will be lighting it on December
aware of that.
25th, yeah, but I would like to have it on display. So if you guys could work on that, that'd be wonderful.
Thank you, and I also just want to commend Kristen Mahoney for serving council for a year, invaluable. And I'm sorry that Mayor Fox is not here, because I would just like to thank him for his service for the past 4 years. Thank you.
I'll give him the message.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. Ray, come on up.
Good evening. I just have a.
Just remind us of your name and address.
Sorry, Ray
That's-
Castellano, 604 Bradley Boulevard. I have a couple of comments about the Main Street improvements. I think the decision you made tonight was the right decision. You wouldn't renovate a house and then decide that you need to repair the foundation. And there's nothing more important for aesthetics on a street than buried underground distribution. That's what you call it, buried underground distribution. The cost quoted tonight, I feel is very high, $1 to $3 million a mile is more typical. Utility companies also love buried underground distribution because it's easier to maintain and it eliminates tree trimming and it provides more reliable service. So they do like it. Deciding not to do that first basically means you'll never do it. Because basically what it means is that everything you do after it will just get disrupted and you just have to redo it. So this is, and if you just even think about it, driving down any street, the ugliest thing you see are the utility poles. You're not gonna see the pavers and the lights. You really see the openness of the street. It's where you start the project. And again, if it's decided not to do it, that's fine, but you're never gonna go back and do it.
Yeah, give it a shot.
Thank you
Okay.
for listening.
Thank you. Ms. Duffy.
Linda Duffy, 312 Brindley Avenue. I just wanna go back to what TJ was saying about the subdivision. Conveniently on their survey plot, that was called, the parsonage was going to remain. But in this bid package, it's going to be demolished. I did say it was probably a mistake at that meeting and they had no idea, but obviously, I don't know what's going on, so what are we doing?
I think what you said about the bid with the demolition, that it's both buildings. So
It's all.
it's all buildings,
Yeah,
right?
so
Yeah.
the land survey, I mean. The plot plan was incorrectly represented and the land use board represented. Themselves and not represented what we were saying, because we did identify that. Also, because it's 4 lots, is that considered a large plot plan? Which does require grading?
Yes.
And that was not addressed, because was that the waiver they were asking for?
Okay,
By not putting the demolition on the plot?
right, I believe with the RFP too, not only are they doing the demolition, they're going to be doing the grading as well. But I haven't seen the RFP, I wish.
I think I looked at it and I
Yeah.
don't think it says that, but I'm not sure.
Okay, Ben is here, maybe he can help us. What are we gonna do with this property?
Ben, you're putting me on the spot tonight.
Then you should have left.
But
You had the chance.
why I'm here.
Okay.
To answer questions, I'm sorry, so,
So
tell
is
me.
it gonna be graded
Yes,
before or after the church comes out?
the church has to be demolished and then
Correct.
there is going to be grading associated.
But where people around the area are concerned about drainage. Because it does slope to other people's property, not to mine necessarily, but to other people's property in my neighborhood. So they're worried that when that whole building comes down and there's a huge cravat in the ground, is that gonna be filled right away?
I can't tell you because
See, that's
the,
why-
well, I'll tell you why I say that, because, as was discussed earlier tonight. T and M prepared the building demolition specifications that are currently out to bid. I don't know what those look like.
So this is
So
just.
ultimately, the grading of the final,
That would be.
buildings that are going to be
That would,
constructed.
that would make sense.
That has to be done by.
January.
Yes, wait, say it again.
You're gonna take a look at all this and get a January.
Yes, in January,
Yeah, thank
we can take a look at everything, but we just don't really have access right now to look at anything.
Yeah, That's
Unfortunately.
great. So the geese are back. In force.
Okay, they're probably migrating, there's a different type of geese, there's
No, they're
residential
not.
geese.
No, these don't look like, they look like the regular pooper on the ground geese.
Well, even the ones that migrate have to do that. I think, this council president's point is that there are resident geese that, reside, and that's what we dealt with. And there's some that are migrating through and they stop and they stay late and they stop and they spend a day or something, but.
Check them tomorrow morning, they should be gone. They've been there all week.
I don't seem to know, but, okay, all week, how much like?
No, Fletcher.
Okay.
I get the lakes mixed up still, but,
Sylvan South, it's easy to remember.
oh, there you go. Oh,
You're
I
welcome.
Forget that. So Eric, I have to ask you a favor. Can you put that video back on the website?
I don't do the website,
Who does
just so everybody knows,
Who does that?
I
Email.
don't know where that video is, and I don't normally post that stuff to the website.
Because the website did change recently. How you view it at home.
We need to take a look at that as well.
Yeah, because it was so much easier to manipulate through it. Now it's kind of hard to find where you're going. And that I noticed I went through every thing and I couldn't find that video again, because I wanted to look at it. Just to see what else was in there, because I think they're missing a few things. And thank you, everybody, for your work. And it's gonna be a great year. And look how nice, we're all smiling and laughing at each other,
I
and
thought you were gonna ask me about the geese. I thought you guys were gonna do something about the geese, and then yeah, you were really about to get an answer, let me tell you.
Do we have a Zoom into the Ozzy Center?
No.
I'm serious.
That's okay.
I'll say, Kristen, thank you for your work.
Thank you.
And if I'm on the beach again and think a wave is gonna take me out, please wake me up.
Anytime.
Thanks for being here. Brian. Did I answer your email?
You did.
I did, okay, good.
Yes. Brian down to 619 4th Avenue. Governor Murphy signed S 3408/A4866 into law, making COVID outdoor dining permissions permanent for restaurants and certain alcoholic beverage retailers for the state of New Jersey. Will the borough of Bradley Beach have any say regarding whether outdoor dining remains? And if so, will restaurants have to adhere to code? There are restaurants that have outdoor dining prior to COVID. How is the new bill different than what already exists? And what will Bradley Beach do about the concerns and complaints of residents and fellow business owners? I've been impacted by outdoor dining for the past 4 years. Expanding restaurants to outdoor dining comes with responsibility to surrounding areas and residents. All of these outdoor dining establishments need to be examined by the borough of Bradley Beach, and they need to adhere to code and assume responsibility. Special events need to be handled just like the code chapter 393 states, and let outdoor dining be just that, outdoor dining. I believe a workshop should be held on the matter of outdoor dining, including restaurants, the mayor, council, neighboring businesses, and the restaurant owners regarding these issues, but not limited to. Hours of outdoor operation, school nights need to be considered, as well as residents with their windows open on spring, summer, and fall mornings, afternoons, and evenings. Outdoor live music, volume and frequency, volume regulation, and how many times a season. Outdoor sports events, same as I just stated. Porta potty storage, it's unsightly and the weekly maintenance is pretty gnarly and seems unsanitary at a restaurant and public way. Outdoor restaurant operations, code education and conduct expectations for employees. Parking capacity has been increased, parking has decreased. Dumpster enclosures, placement, cleanliness, and maintenance. We all want a beautiful downtown Bradley Beach. Communication is the foundation of any relationship. Town code gives us a set of rules to follow, and with that, we can have clear expectations of our neighbors. The result, cohesive communities.
Thank you, Council President.
Okay, yes.
Can I respond to?
Oh, please do, yeah, Brian, hang out for a second.
Just, I don't know if it's gonna answer any of your questions, but you asked about, outdoor dining. So before the pandemic, the restaurants that had outdoor dining, we had a sidewalk dining or cafe or whatever stipulation, they could apply for it, they could get approved for it, but they had to apply for it, and they would go through that every year, and our code enforcement or like zoning and code enforcement would do it. So just, that's how that worked. And I think what you referenced with the governor, he signed something that allows towns to, if they want to make the outdoor dining permanent, they can. That doesn't mean that it's not automatic throughout the whole state. So I believe we've heard from people, some people want their parking back, and so I believe for the restaurant that you're talking about, like, we'll have a discussion about that in 25, as you requested.
I'm not anti it, I love all the celebrations, I like to eat outdoors myself. It just, if I have to abide by code, everyone else should.
Sure.
Makes sense.
Thank you.
Anything else you want to add with that, Mr. Cannon, about this?
So there's a new state law that extended, so they were temporary back in 2022. But this is a mutual area regulation between the borough and the state, right? The Alcoholic Beverage Commission has authority jurisdiction, and we have jurisdiction. At this moment, those temporary permits have all been extended automatically until November 30th of 2025, as they said. And the director of the ABC has until May 30th, 2025, because these are basically being made permanent at this point. They're no longer temporary, no longer year extensions. You basically make an application and make your expansion of your premises permanent. The ABC is going to put out regulations. They have until, according to the law, May 30th, 2025, at which that will delineate the scope of the municipal regulation. Your points to code and everything like that, that's already in the original statute that requires a zoning application for these continue now to make them permanent. So that's already in there. So that will be addressed as a matter of course. But in terms of how exactly the rest of what you described is going to be addressed, we don't actually know sitting here, but we will know by May 30th. And then if a licensee makes an application to make that temporary prior permit permanent as part of their liquor license, it will then renew on July first, just like all the rest of them, coterminous with the rest of the liquor license, this November date will go away. And everything will go back to July, and then regardless of what the special rulings are, the special conditions and all the usual parameters of local jurisdiction to deal with a lot of the quality of life problems that you were identifying will still exist no matter what, and will be applicable and can be applied by this council or any borough or any municipality during the June, July renewal period in 2025. So that's where we sit right now in terms of like what the rubric is. Right now, it's all in the ABC's hands. And as before May 30th, they were gonna issue what's called a special ruling. When they do special rulings, so they do an advisory notice, which basically explains to people like me and Erica how to handle this new regulation that they've put in place on a local level, because they're ultimately in charge of it. So that's the current rubric of the situation. In many places, what was temporary and what people thought was acceptable as a temporary accommodation, when now this is going literally going permanent. I think that the way people look at it will be different, and we're hoping that will be taken into account by the ABC's notice to come, but prior to the renewals. But if it's not, then we still have the same special conditions and all the ordinary liquor license controls over these premises that we do of any other bar or anything else in town. So that's the rubric that we're sitting in. We don't actually know how to deal with this problem at this moment until the state tells us by now.
All right, well, I appreciate that. Thank
No
you.
problem at all.
Thank you. Ms. Mena?
Nancy Meadow, Ocean Park Condominium Association. I come here not planning on saying anything and then everything comes up. So, just want to point out that in 20 days, we'll be firm 2 years. The DPW has not had a contract. I'm mortified. Yes, I'd love to see power underground. I had a power outage today where the power line was extensive through Wall Township and Neptune. It's not fun to have kids without their phones, without their computers. It's not a good thing. I would like to say that we have a pattern, and I don't deal well with it in my personal life, of waiting till the last minute and then having to make a decision that really isn't the right decision because we're at the last minute. So that's in reference to all the grants that we were discussing this evening. And may I say, it's not free money. I pay for those grants with my property taxes here, my state taxes, and my federal taxes. So I don't want to just take them to take them. I want to take them because we know where we're going with them, which would help if I knew what you're extending the promenade. With what? What is it gonna look like? Are we putting pavers back? Are we just putting sand? Are we just building it up? Main Street. Personally, I've said this before. Pick a number, 4 or 5, whatever. Those are the colors you're allowed to do your facade with when you redo it, when you buy, whenever. Pick a number of signage. If X number of designs, that's a signage. Put a little elbow grease, enforce the codes, and you would be surprised what Main Street might look like without all of these bazillions of dollars. In January, I'm so proud of me, in January of 2024, in a telephone conversation with the VA, because Ms. W asked who does the website, and Erica stated that she didn't, but we didn't learn who. I was told by the current VA at that time, or the acting VA, that each department does their own part of the website. I'm not saying that that's true, I'm merely saying that's what I was told. Regarding paving Fifth Avenue, 500 block, that's the school. That can't be done in spring. You gotta find those months in the summer when summer school's not open. And there are several blocks of time where that happens. Environmentally, asthma, inhaling all of that, let alone the safety of all those vehicles there, and taking away from teacher parking. It's not like they have a parking lot. But, why would we plan that? Just a point of clarification, the Historical Society. Wonderful presentation was on Sunday, the 8th. This Saturday is the 14th. I don't know why that was given by someone else. This Thursday, which is tomorrow, is the 12th. So whatever's going on tomorrow, the 18th, is it tomorrow the 12th or next week the 18th? I don't know. And then Kristen, who you were involved prior to this position. Your contribution with accuracy, questions, and humor could not be surpassed.
You don't like humor, remember that?
I know. And I expect this all to continue, because you're not gonna wilt away. So with that, thank you. And that's pretty much my 5 minutes, although I will sit down and think what I didn't say.
Thank you very much. Any other questions or comments, Lauren?
Oh, sorry.
Lauren Earth for 4.5 Brindley Avenue. Just touching upon a few things that have been said today. I would also like to thank the movement that led to the Main Street decisions being put off until we know about underground utilities. And I would also like to point out, with that regard, and I'm sure you're all aware, that weather is becoming more extreme. That it's not just an aesthetic question, you know, that the more we can go to underground, the less likely we are to be without heat for extended periods of time. You know, heat, light, all of those important things. Also, you know, I had the occasion to be walking around town quite a bit in the early fall. And I heard complaints about the condition and the view on Main Street. But everything that I heard from residents was a really code compliance. It was really things that were cleanup. So, you know, just that, and I too share the idea that just because we have a grant doesn't mean we want to match it and spend it. You know, I mean, in the terms of, I'm not educated enough on the whole Main Street plan to know whether it's worth it or it isn't. But that is a perspective that I have, that we should be choosing very carefully what the borough needs and how we use money moving forward. I too am concerned about the issue of the 319 and particularly the grading plan. We brought that up at the zoning board meeting, and this lovely man from CME, I'm sorry, I don't know your name, satisfied me very much when he said, well, that's all gonna be taken care of with the demolition. You know, the town will certainly see that it's, I mean, it's, we all know it has retaining walls and it's high, that'll all be down to street level. And I thought that was great. And then I went home and I thought, wait a second, any other applicant would have to make that representation formally in order to get the permission to do the subdivision. And now where do we have recourse? And the idea was that it would be in the demolition. And now it's not this engineering firm, but T&M, who put together the bid specifications. And we have it's not been clarified to me yet that includes grading that whole lot, let alone what that grading is gonna look like and how it's gonna take place. And I frankly am concerned about all the bids. I didn't, over the course of the last 3 and more years, I have not gotten a huge sense of confidence about what happened and, you know, or seen a whole lot of transparency when it comes to things like bids, plans, purchases. And I'm wondering, does the council have any, you see the specifications, but do you have any say in what they are in the final analysis? And do you get to see the bids and know on what basis the bid was chosen?
Well, we would participate in the choosing of the bidder, the successful bidder. But that has been a constant challenge for the council. We have not been privy to the development of the specifications. They haven't been shared with us before they go out. Residents tonight have raised questions about that application. Council President DeNoble was really clear in saying we wanted a demolition of all the buildings, that we wanted grading. And yet the application, and again, Mr. Matlack wasn't aware, and we had T&M was pulled in, we were not aware of that. An attorney we don't know was pulled in, and it was all the process managed by the administration. And we found out more or less, when the land use board meeting occurred, when all the residents found out, when I think Mr. Matlack found out, exactly what was being requested. So I hate to sound like we're making mistakes, but or making excuses, but we just have not been as informed as we would like.
Another way to say it is a lot of the people that are responsible for this work that should really be melding together are separate, right? So you have an engineer here who helped you do the subdivision plan, but then another engineer did the demolition plan. And the approved subdivision has a building staying, it's being knocked down by the demolition bid, right? I'm the borough attorney and I haven't seen either. So we're on December 11th, and in 3 weeks, I have had a long discussion with Mayor-elect Gubitosi about trying to make these pieces fit together in a way, not just on this project level, as you can see how confusing this gets when you just have that tonight, more people look at it, more people catch that the building's staying and want to knock down the other, right? And that is something that we have talked explicitly and for frankly hours at this point since election day about how we get a handle on all those because every little piece that doesn't fit together just costs all the taxpayers money to make it fit together after the fact. And so that's something that Councilman Gubitosi, Mayor-elect Gubitosi, and I, and a lot of all your council members, frankly, over a period of time have talked about getting those. You guys come here and point out pieces that don't fit together every 2 weeks, all meeting long by my count for like an hour and a half tonight. And that can't happen if you have any trust in anything that can be accomplished up here. And that's like just, to be honest with you, and we could sit here and not answer your questions all night, but we'll just be honest with you, we don't know. That was news to me sitting at the microphone. And come January 1st, we intend to fit those pieces together efficiently, transparently. I mean, Al could probably give you the speech he gave me on the phone multiple times, but like that's what we intend to do. And we don't have an answer for you right now. We could sit here all night for the next 2 hours, and I can't tell you how all this fits together. The clerk doesn't even know who does the website. But we're gonna find out January 1st, and I can promise you on the first and third Tuesdays now, we're gonna make sure all the pieces fit together. But that's the best that we can do tonight. I mean, I don't mean to like cut you off or whatever, but we don't have any answers you're talking about, and that's the reason why.
Thank you.
I would really appreciate it.
The clerk also did everything's gonna.
The one thing that I'd like to get some clarity on, first of all, I do completely trust that transparency and efficient working and collaboration is gonna be the absolute norm.
Well, the alternative has been pretty miserable, I think we'd all agree, so.
I'm sorry?
I think the alternative has been pretty miserable for all of us sitting here every 2 weeks together. So
yes,
that's something that Mayor-elect and I discussed as well, how we'd like to not do this every 2 weeks.
That sounds great. But still on that subject. Okay, I'm gonna ask this governing body not to let go of that grading issue. I mean, it'd be great if it could be dealt with on the bids.
Can I put something out there? And I'm new construction, but also they would be required for the new, whatever being built there to have a grading plan. But your point is well taken, and reviewing the site plan and making sure that it's what we originally talked about here in September is like basically what, top 3, top 2, I don't know, we have a lot of problems, but it's up there.
Yeah, if I could just go back to that individual property, that's exactly what I'm hoping to circumvent. I have been on the zoning board. And I have seen what happens depending upon who happens to sit on it who happens to have an application, there are a lot of variables that can
Can I
come.
ask you a question? And I don't mean to keep cutting you off, if you're wealth of like revealing stuff. Do people here bury only half the basement to get more space underneath the house and then the house is tower over? Is that the grading issue that you guys are?
I'm sorry,
experiencing?
I didn't understand.
So it's been my experience in towns where the property values are high, that people start playing with the first floor elevation in order to jam more space underneath the house. This happened to the point of absurdity in some cases, like bringing Fairhaven to some houses. And so there is a way to address that through your zoning ordinance that they did in Fairhaven, which does not allow you to then have a castle that basically towers over your neighbor's house, because you've effectively raised the grade from street level of your property feet in some cases. In Fairhaven, it's a lot more topographical than here. So like, I'll bring you to houses that are like, I can't believe that is allowed, right? So we can address that overall issue. I've heard that brought up a number of times. I heard it brought up here as part of the subdivision. You don't want a bunch of poor houses be towering everyone else, seems to be. And drainage also becomes a problem because everything comes off the roof, the leaders run down to everyone else's house. Long story short, I'm really familiar with this issue, and I can bring you the ordinance that they passed in Fairhaven. We can look at it. It prevents people from jamming basically a third floor as a basement that's this far out of the ground. And that, and then long story short, I am familiar with this issue, and we can work on this too,
Do you know?
in a more comprehensive sense than just this property.
Yes, do you know, thank you. That was a concern that hadn't even occurred to me. It's
I saw
just,
someone nod back
it's
there.
just the idea that right now we're, 5 feet above? And then even if they're not trying to build more under, it's nice to be high and dry, unless of course you're raining down water on your neighbors. You you have a great view, but you're taller than, it just, to me, there was a suggestion by the land use board, at that last meeting, that you residents are gonna have to stay very vigilant, and you're gonna have to come to every meeting if there's any requests for variances on those properties. And I thought with the deed restrictions, it was like variances, no, and then they couldn't tell me whether that was true or it wasn't. That wasn't true according to them, and then it seemed to change. It wasn't a super confidence building meeting. But I would just like the town to take care of the grading issue on that entire plot. And then, going forward, what other ordinances make. The other thing that piqued me was the idea of lining those sewers. I know it's already an issue with the north side of town. Why are we getting lining when other people got new sewers? And I would really like you to stay on top of that too, before anything actually happens with those sewers and opening it up and doing that and closing it up again. And the fact that that came as a surprise, I feel like I need to apologize to all of you. I have some feel for the dynamic that has existed and the game of cleanup that may need to happen. I'm sure I had something else.
Nice, I think you had your 5 minutes. Other people may have.
Could you please consider allowing us to have dogs on the boardwalk unleashed in the winter hours mirroring Ocean Grove?
Unleashed.
Put that on the back.
No, on the
Sit
lead. Yeah.
On the leash.
Okay,
Thank you. I'm sorry to take so long.
that's okay.
That's okay, I used to.
Okay. Ms. Devane.
Bridget Devane, 313 Lorraine Avenue. Sorry, Mr. Cannon, but I'm gonna have to say this officially because at the land use board, they told us to be vigilant and to come to every meeting. And essentially, I live right next door to this property. I am concerned about the grading because of the water runoff. The height is actually not as much of a concern because we live next to a towering church for the last 20 years, so the height is not necessarily the issue for me. It is the fact that we've never had water on our property, and I really don't want that. But I think what I would ask of this governing body is that there be one meeting where you bring every professional into the room and hold a public meeting so that we can ask questions that get answered. From the issues that Paul raised, Mr. Nishampin, who was not emotional at all because his responsibility as the president of the Historical Society is to preserve the history of this town. So by asking these questions, that is his job. Just as our job as residents is to make sure that our property is protected. But I also am concerned because that building, we've never demolished a building like this. No one in this town, in this room, there have been other buildings in the history of this town where they've been demolished. I don't think anybody's been responsible for such a large building that's been there for so many years. When that comes down, there will be an impact on us as neighbors. And I can give you an example. When they fixed the retaining wall around the church, the rodents that lived in that retaining wall had to go somewhere. And guess where they went? Into our homes. We had to deal with that issue. Imagine what it will be like. This has been an animal sanctuary. It is beautiful to watch the birds and the raccoons and the squirrels play all day.
And the bats.
It is wonderful, but they're gonna have to find a new home. How will you handle that? Will the street be closed off? Will the sidewalks be closed? Because then the kids walking to school will have to find a new route to school. So just like when you pave Fifth Avenue and you're gonna have to work with the school, you're gonna have to work with us as neighbors to inform us, to make sure, so we're aware of the hazards that we are gonna be exposed to, because we are going to be exposed to hazards. And so for the safety of the residents, please do your job of informing us so that we are aware. Because if we're aware, we don't need to be emotional. But if you put me at risk, I will be emotional. And that is not fair to us as residents. Just, we're asking for information, but don't make us go to 10 different meetings. I don't have the time to go to 10 different meetings. If you can do this in one meeting where you put everybody who has the information in the room so our questions can get answered, that would be a much more responsible approach. So that's all I ask.
Thank you. Well said. Anybody else have comments? Okay. Mr. Tinus, yes. I know, we have a couple people I see.
Yeah, 3 people on
Yeah,
Zoom.
thank you.
Hi, Julie Newton, 605 New York Avenue. I'm really concerned hearing about liners in the sewers. I live on the North Avenue. And I know that this has been brought up before about liners and everybody said no way. Where all of a sudden did this get approved?
Well, we were under the impression that grant was for paving. I was not aware, I don't, until Ms. Greenblatt asked the question and Mr. Malik answered it.
Because I'm very
Yeah, the council
concerned.
wasn't aware.
I'm so concerned about this is because, first of all, our infrastructure with our sewers are just a mess to begin with, and we have so many issues there. But just to think that, oh, okay, well, we'll just do because we wasted money. I mean, obviously, we have a lot of financial issues that, with the departure of Mayor Fox. Now that we're all gonna be suffering, I'm a taxpayer over 10 years here. Now I'm gonna get a liner in my sewers?
We'll be revisiting it.
Oh, okay, so nothing will be
This is-
approved and
this is
nothing will go
two
ahead.
blocks, like, again, future sewer projects, I think are gonna get a different view. To answer your question, I think this was a decision of the administration that we weren't necessarily aware of.
And don't you have to approve that? That just can't unilaterally pass.
I think we just did tonight.
Yeah,
So we have to revisit it.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because that really did, I am sure scared every North End resident in this town that there are gonna be surprises going on that you're not aware of and that we're not aware of. So, you guys have your work cut out for you.
We
Thank you very
hope
much.
2025 will be much more inclusive and a lot more transparent. And we'll keep you posted on everything we can.
Well, and I thank you for what you said, Mr. Cannon, about come January 1, we're gonna put the pieces
I
together.
want to give us
because-
a perspective. We can sit here for a couple hours and talk about stuff that we don't know, but we're
Yeah.
just trying to be honest with you.
And I know we all sound like a broken record. We just can't, this town can't go on like this.
No.
It just can't. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Okay, well, exactly. I see Elliot.
Elliot's iPhone.
Just state your name and address, please.
Yes, my name is Elliot Isaac, 316 Park Place.
Thank you.
Good evening. I wanted to say, first of all, good evening to Mayor Fox, but I see that he has, looks like he's run away. So, council members, thank you, fellow residents, Bradley Beach, thank you for letting me just speak. I come to you tonight not only as a concerned homeowner, but also as someone deeply invested in the well-being and beauty of our beloved town. Bradley Beach has been a sanctuary for my family, offering the quiet warmth and charm that has drawn generations to its shores. It's with that love and commitment in mind that I share the challenges we are facing regarding bamboo removal and seek your understanding and support. The issue at hand, in August of this year, we received notification that the bamboo planted on our property, legally planted by the previous homeowner in 2017, excuse me, was now in violation of the town's bamboo ordinance enacted in 2020. Acting swiftly to comply, we arranged for the immediate removal of the bamboo, incurring substantial costs in the process. Despite our efforts, we were informed by Mr. Martin Kiley, the town inspector, that additional, more invasive work was required, including digging a trench 3 feet deep along the entire length of the plant bed. While we complied at every turn, the process has become increasingly burdensome and costly, exposing gaps in the ordinance and enforcement procedures that are not only impractical, but also inequitable. Moreover, our contractor, Professional Bamboo Landscapers, PBL, has suspended work in Bradley Beach, New Jersey, due to the town's policies and inspection requirements, further delaying our ability to restore our property. Our key concerns: number one, the ordinance language and enforcement. The bamboo ordinance lacks provisions for grandfathering or leniency for bamboo planted legally before the ordinance took effect. No explicit requirement in the ordinance for the 3-foot trench now being demanded, creating ambiguity and adding unnecessary costs. Number two, health and safety risks. Harmful herbicides like Roundup are not a viable solution for our family, given our personal circumstances, including family members battling serious illnesses and young children present on the property. Non-toxic removal methods are essential. Number three, equity and shared responsibility. Bamboo roots do not respect property lines. Despite this, only our property received a violation notice, even though adjacent properties also containing bamboo remain unaddressed. We propose that the cost of the removal be shared among affected property owners to ensure fairness and efficacy. Number four, impact on contractors and compliance. PBL's decision to suspend work in Bradley Beach highlights the impracticality of current policies. When contractors cannot effectively, homeowners are set up for failure, despite their best intentions. Our proposed solutions: number one, amend the ordinance. Include provisions for granting bamboo planted legally before 2020. Clarify and streamline requirements to avoid unnecessary financial and physical burdens on homeowners. Number two, simplify the inspection process. Limit inspections to a single visual check post-removal and follow-up inspection 1 year later to confirm compliance. Eliminate the unwarranted 3-foot trench requirement unless explicitly justified by bamboo experts. Number three, provide financial support. Introduce a town subsidy for bamboo removal to assist homeowners facing exorbitant costs. Share removal costs among all affected property owners, with the town coordinating efforts to ensure collective compliance. Number four, designate approved contractors. Establish PBL or similar professionals as primary vendors for bamboo removal in Bradley Beach, allowing for standardized practices and cost-sharing arrangements. Path forward. Our goal is simple: to comply with the ordinance, restore our property, and move forward without further undue hardship. To date, we have spent thousands on removal, with projected costs in the future far exceeding our budget. This is due to delays and additional requirements. We ask the council to act swiftly. Permit PBL to resume work without the risk of fines or unnecessary delays. Notify all affected property owners to ensure collective financial responsibility and prevent regrowth. Introduce a town subsidy for bamboo removal to assist homeowners facing exorbitant costs. Provide a resolution that allows us to replant and restore our backyard without fear of future legal or financial repercussions. Time is of the essence. As winter approaches, frozen ground will further delay work, extending the eyesore in our backyard and preventing replanting efforts until spring. This prolonged disruption is neither fair to us as homeowners nor beneficial to the town. In closing, Bradley Beach is a community that thrives on collaboration and mutual respect. By addressing these challenges thoughtfully and equitably, we can uphold the values that make this town so special. I urge you to consider the proposed solutions and take decisive action to resolve this matter to benefit all parties involved. Thank you for your time and understanding, and I'm hopeful that together we can find a resolution that restores our property and, more importantly, our faith in the Bradley Beach bureaucracy meant to serve and protect our community. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Elliot.
Thank you.
Well, and Paul Nishamkin. Okay, I just want to address this real quickly. Do we need to revisit our ordinance for this?
Yes. Well, I think
I don't know what
have
the issue
a
is.
meeting with Mr. Isaac.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. That'd be good.
Yeah, and I've had numerous conversations and email exchanges with Mr. Isaac. And Mr. Isaac, just to recap, you know, what you and I have covered. The administration directs employees, they direct code enforcement, they direct, all the immediate challenges that you're facing with your property being torn up. Unfortunately, there's nothing this council can do until next year when we can change the ordinance. And a lot of what you read tonight, I 100% agree with. I was the author of the existing ordinance that needs a lot of changing, so I take some responsibility for that. I largely plagiarized from other towns, so I think we're all learning about invasive species. But
As are we. This is not something that I ever intended to learn so much about. But I'm happy to work with the council to be able to either amend the ordinance and definitely help other people to move past this. This is not something that should be such a stumbling block.
But in terms of the immediacy of your property being torn up and you know, you're dealing with code enforcement in particular, that really is something that the mayor and the business administrator should be able to address with you over the next 3 weeks. Beginning January 1st, you know, you'll have a new council and a new mayor, and we can certainly work with you at that point. But I wouldn't wait 3 weeks if you're able to engage our business administrator and the mayor.
As you know, Mayor Gubitosi, I've been emailing, it feels like for months now, the mayor, the BA, with zero response. It's a little bit hard for me to comprehend how someone is in that position and won't even acknowledge a receipt of a complaint like that. So when you ask, obviously, to wait for 3 weeks, I don't have a choice. I mean, I'm in a position right now where we were willing to do everything to comply, spending thousands and thousands of dollars on something that's not going to beautify our property. The property was beautiful the way it was. It was a simple, beautiful property. It looks awful now. And we can't do anything to make it, to fix it. It's disheartening.
Mr. Cannon, am I giving wrong advice here? Is there anything?
No, I think we'll help try to figure out the issue. At this point, I'll be honest with you, I don't really know anything about it, what the neighborhood situation is and what have you, so I'm hesitant. I'm not trying to poo-poo the gentleman. I just don't really have a great answer for him.
No, but if there was anyone to work with him, it would have to be our administration, correct?
In the short term, yeah. I mean, overall, yeah.
This council really can't do anything over the next 3 weeks that I'm aware of.
Well, perhaps,
Tell me.
we could try to reach out and see if we can get some movement. It sounds like the gentleman just wants some certainty on how to put his backyard together.
Yes.
And he's not gonna put it back together and have to rip it up again. Am I taking that?
Yeah.
I don't know if you can hear me or not.
Okay.
I had a little trouble hearing you. I apologize.
It sounded like you were really looking for certainty to put your backyard together, that if you put it back together.
No,
X
I
way-
can't put it back together because I've been told by the inspector that it has to be dug up by three feet along the entire perimeter of my backyard. In order to do that, there's one company in the tri-state area that specializes in that. We were ready to contract. We had our pens out to be able to sign the contract. They were already involved in another job in Bradley Beach. The inspector delayed them and fined them, and they said and then I got a letter from the owner of the company saying, because of this, we are no longer working in Bradley Beach. That's why I can't repair the things that have been destroyed. because the root system, I've been told, has to be taken up by 3 feet. And they're the only people that can do it because they come in with their machines and nobody else is.
This seems like a function of the way it's being enforced. And as Mr. Gubatose said, we don't have control over that right now. We've got just 20 days and we will have control over that. 19, whatever. I'm definitely sympathetic, Mr. Isaac, and I definitely want to talk to you, and I would go rogue and do that before the administration changes. But to me, it sounds like has something to do with the way it's being enforced, and it's not something we have control over at this second, so.
Okay.
We do have
And I think we should.
I know, we have to
Yeah,
move on,
we have
but
to
we
move on,
do
yeah.
need to make ordinance changes. I'm just encouraging you to continue, if it's a daily email, just continue to request the mayor's intervention to.
I'm happy to do that. Even if I get no response, I'm happy to do that. I will, obviously CC all of you as I have been, and I appreciate your time and respect with this issue.
Okay, thank you very
Please do,
much.
thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Mr.
Shampkin?
Yes. Mr. Nishamkin.
Oh, you're on mute.
You gotta,
There
there he is.
Paul Nishamkin, 411.5 Lorraine Avenue. Thank God we have a change in administration happening now. And it's too damn bad that it didn't happen years ago. In the meantime, in the remaining weeks, I hope that no more harm will be done. I'm specifically concerned, of course, about the 319 Lorraine Avenue and the way it's been handled. I wanted to clarify one thing. The mayor surprised me again when he was discussing his history of how the disposition of the artifacts was being handled. He mentioned that Rose O'Connor, mayor, had been the one who had been working on this, which was very strange. When I had a discussion with him on September 27th, which I took extensive notes on, which I'd be happy to show everybody, he assured me that she was, quote, no longer involved in any way in the process. And I had specifically asked him if I could talk to her to clarify exactly what was going on. And he said, no, she's not involved anymore. She won't be involved. Well, it turns out that she was. And I don't know how you work with an administration which can't be transparent or consistently honest in their discourse with you. So please, let's make sure that nothing else bad happens in the remaining weeks. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So I think we are done with that, and we have to go into executive session now, so I'd like to make a motion that we go into executive session.
Second.
I wanted to second it, my last second.
Sorry, I would rescind my second.
Okay.
Second,
For the record,
Mr.
this one
Noble?
over here.
second.
Yes,
Thank
yes.
Mr. Gubatose?
Yes.
Ms. Mahoney?
Yeah.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Fox absent.
And if people are leaving, I just want to say thank you for being
Yes.
here.
Thank you.
We love serving you. It's our highest honor, and please stay tuned for 2025. It's gonna be a really great year.
We can get it quickly, like,